when I think
Yeah.
you're looking at a complete reinvention of the country, and we need a vision for that. And if you look at the Tories, if you look at fucking, oh sorry,
Yeah. So we're live now. So I'm here with Champty. So basically, talk about random topics for a bit today. Yeah, you carry on now. Go on.
thank you for having me, Cameron. Sorry, I was going into one about how if you look at the Tories, they have no real vision for Brexit. You know, I mean, they want to basically turn us into the Virgin Isles. You know,
Yes,
uh,
essentially,
a,
yes.
a race to the bomb. You know,
Yeah.
um, uh, uh, where the only people, or the only thing you can work for are 0 hours contracts, and there's no workers' rights. And it's Deliveroo and Uber all over the place, and Amazon are attaching pedometers to your shoes to make sure you're working fast enough. It's like it's basically going to be a new sweatshop, because if you look at China, for instance, they're actually sorting out their workers' rights. Yeah, that's been the sweatshop of the past, but they're updating it. It's that's of the past. They're updating it. They're actually being more progressive. And China's a fucking shit place to work.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
yeah, there are changing things at a slow pace over there. What I've noticed. But what essentially the Tories want is a low tax, largely fair society, low regulations. They can do what they want, and the EU makes a lot of regulations that the Tories don't necessarily want. Like,
Mm.
this is why we get people like John Redwood, who are
God.
basically Eurosceptic.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
The Tories, the
Um,
Tories do kind of have a vision, but it's not the one that we necessarily like.
well, this is where I completely disagree with Angels and James. They're saying that they should. Oh, fucking hell.
Was that me?
Yeah, no, sorry, that was my phone speaking to me. um, there should be like this cross-party kind of relationship where they can sort out the best vision for Brexit and cross-party. This Chukwuemeka, fucking Anna Salisbury, bloody Vince Cable, fucking bullshit. It's just wrong, right? Because it like the Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell vision of Brexit is worlds apart from the Boris Johnson, Michael Gove one. Right? It is worlds apart. I mean,
Well,
as far
yeah.
apart as their ideologies, essentially.
What Corbyn essentially wants is a Tony Benn like Brexit. Tony Benn actually
Yeah.
wanted to leave the EU and hopefully create something better, something about less authoritarian and more about socialism. Basically,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
that's what he wanted to do, and that's what Corbyn wanted. And I think that's what Corbyn was trying to get at when he was trying to say, "Oh, reform the EU." But
Well, he's an Bennite, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
at heart, that's what he is.
yeah. And yeah, I fucking love Ben, man. Fucking everybody loves Tony Benn. But his fucking son, Hillary Benn. Oh
Yeah.
God.
O'Donnell doesn't like him. He called him extremist.
Hmm.
Well, that's O'Donnell. So.
Well, that's just fucking propaganda, I think.
Yeah.
To extremist is propaganda, essentially.
Yeah. But this in the side chat is talking about the British media forbidden to report on the journey of Tommy Robinson. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if he could.
Tommy is likely to be killed in jail.
I'm
Considering
not sure about that one.
yeah, Yeah, I'm not sure on that. But considering he's caused the deaths of at least one person that we know of, then eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Especially for a right-wing, ill-educated asshole like that. Really.
Yeah.
So I've got no sympathy for him. I've no fucking sympathy at all.
What he got arrested for is actually filming a court case about the basically the rape gangs, which apparently were Muslim, Pakistani according to it. Well, not, but it's understandable why he tried to do that when there's. I live in a place where that's a massive issue. There's been a lot of corrupts regarding that, so it's understandable why he tried to go and film it. I do think that in those important court cases, perhaps it should be publicized a lot more. But so I sympathize with why he wanted to film it. But he got a message for it, and now going to jail. Probably.
I have no sympathy. I'm sorry, but I can't.
No. All right. I'm not sympathizing with him. I don't like him. But I say that what he wanted to do was a bit of a noble cause. Wait, right. This is an issue that's been curled up for years. Right. I'm originally from Rotherham, and I lived there when all this thing came through. And the police, the council, they all covered it up. So I completely understand the concerns he's going to have with that. That's what I'm trying to say. Doesn't mean I like Tommy Robinson at all.
Bubblevis has just said to me, fuck you. Socialists are the scum of the earth. Bubblevis, like I said, Tommy Robinson has been the cause and known cause, documented death of at least one person, and we know this. This is Joe Cox, right? So I really have no sympathy for him at all whatsoever. He's a hate speech baranderer, and if he goes to jail and if he gets killed in jail, fair enough, he deserves it, right? Tell that to Joe Cox's husband, right? Honestly, mate. I think your language, fuck you, Chamshi. Do you agree, Cameron? Socialists are the scum of the earth. Yeah, again, that's a bit harsh, mate. It's a bit harsh. Yeah. But what do you think?
I'm not sure Joe Cox has links. Links to he had links to another foreign organization company first, I think. But maybe Tommy Robinson had influence. I don't know.
Well, especially the Finsbury Park.
Yeah,
van driver.
Apparently, the person said he wanted to kill Jeremy Corbyn. He did that because that's in Corbyn's seat. He literally said when he went to court, he wanted to kill Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah. So we probably had two aims for that one. No, I don't think socialist is going to.
Chamshi condones political murder. No, I don't at all. I don't condone any murder at all. Of course not. Of course not. But any punishment that Tommy Robinson has coming to him, he has coming to him, and he's any hate speech. Can you imagine the violence that he's indoctrinated within the UK?
Yeah.
Bubblevis is triggered. Apparently.
Barrett Burt, what's the chat? I don't agree with Tommy's politics at all. Whatever, everyone is entitled for fair justice. Yeah, I completely agree with that one.
Yeah, of course. Interesting from Asim. He says people need to realize the bigger picture, that Tommy Robinson is a Zionist shill. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's very pro Israel.
uh,
I think it's because I think it's about of Muslims. I think that's the only reason behind that one.
Bob Elvis, I don't want to have a falling out with you, but I will say this, right? Now, if Tommy Robinson goes to prison, which he probably will do, and someone kills him, then I think that person should be done for murder, right? I don't condone anybody getting murdered whatsoever, full stop, right? But what I will say is the amount of violence that he has, or the amount of hatred that he has sown throughout some societies really needs to have questions.
We got Gerard and Angel just joined, so I'll say
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Well, hang on. Hi, guys. Okay, bye, guys. I have no place here. I don't want to associate myself with undemocratic thugs.
What?
Oh, that's a hell of a statement, isn't it, Pavlovis?
Sorry.
I'm a leaver. I'm as democratic as you're getting. But yeah.
Hey, Gerard. Hey, Angels.
Hello. I don't really understand how. I've just read up, and I was like listening, and I don't really understand how this all links together. Is he just annoyed because he's just annoyed, or
Wait, what are you talking
What
about?
he's annoyed about?
he
What's
might
going on?
might be annoyed about something separate, and that he's like taking it out on like the. I don't know.
Tommy Robinson going to prison, apparently. That's what he's annoyed about.
Well, okay, but I still don't see, like, if I read up and then obviously I've like listened to, in for a little while, it still doesn't quite follow on like how he suddenly escalated. So my guess is he's probably pissed about something else and he's just like taking it out on this. So okay, it's fine.
Maybe it's maybe it's something outside of us. But let's go back. Fuck you, Champchi. Do you agree, Cameron? Socialists are the scum of the earth. I said that's a bit harsh. Champchi condones political murder, encouraging it. I am pissed. I take it that means angry rather than drunk, but who knows?
Yeah, like James Fielding makes a really good point too. Just because somebody, even though I'm no fan of terrorism, obviously, myself, but just because somebody is like pro-Israel doesn't necessarily make them a Zionist. Sure, that's true.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I also think Tommy Robinson is pro-Israel in terms of the Israel-Palestinian issue. I think he just hates Muslims. That's it. I think he sees Hamas, and then I hate them. So
did you?
Can I just say?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Can I just say in the side chat, if Bubblvis is still here, which I hope you are, Bubblvis, you do have a place here. You're actually quite like valued here, and there's no need to just and there's no need to leave because of whatever it is that you appear to be annoyed with when it comes to Tommy Robinson or anyone else for that matter. Like that's the whole point of all of our channels, is to sort of discuss stuff. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't get heated. I mean, God, you've seen me and Stizer. You are welcome here. So stick around, please. Alsjeblieft. Who else am I gonna speak Dutch with? These are
I think you're obviously you're exactly right. And the point being, if you really feel strongly about Elvis, just ask, and you can get a join link, and can join the discussion. So
Yeah, and he
I
has
mean,
the
that's
luxury of chatting in Dutch with my
exactly
shitty,
right.
with my shitty Dutch too. No, I don't think they are bubbles. I think that that's probably like twisting things. I don't. I don't think that people are okay with murder. Certainly not on any channels that I associate myself with, and I associate myself with this one and the others. If I thought that in any way somebody would be okay with like murdering someone, then do you think I'd go anywhere near them? No.
Yeah, it's
So
a bit,
you know what I mean?
it's a bit
Like,
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I
mean,
well, I'm a
to
bit of a serial
have-
killer.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm a serial killer now. I had some conflicts this morning.
Sorry, that was a bit too loud for
I mean,
how
I'm
that joke was.
look, to be honest, I'm so soft-willed that I don't even say, "Oh my God, I want to kill like Brexiters." I just want to ship them off to Brexit Island. So that makes me reasonable. You know what I mean?
Oh, just a sharp change of subject. Gerard,
Yeah.
what was the exit poll? How's the poll on the vote?
From what I've seen, it was around 70% for yes.
Wow, fucking
Well,
yes.
it's about
Fucking
time, isn't
yeah.
it? Bloody hell.
Yes,
I
fucking
I
yes.
got a glance at the constituency breakdown. I think I put it in the bullet chat. Yeah, I did. But most of the constituencies are around 60-70%, with probably the most. Well, it's kind of predictable that the more rural urban area you tend to get, the more conservative people are. That's just sort of the way it is.
No, yeah, because
Yeah,
they're all
sure.
small-minded. It's the
Of
same.
course,
Yeah.
of
I
course.
wouldn't say small-minded. I'd just say.
Well, no,
sort
but
of-
what I mean is less used to like more multicultural sort of
Yeah,
multiculturalism.
I would agree with you.
Well, isn't that what the title presumes, isn't it? Conservative, so it's conserving.
That's what I mean.
Um,
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Ireland, it's sort of the coastal areas are more seen as middle class and that stuff, while the more you get in to the actual land, the more conservative people tend to be. Like, I have a friend that lives in a county called what's it called? It's like the most rural county. Jesus Christ. Hang on. It's not coming to mind. I know where it is. So Roscommon, that's what it is. And
Right.
that is like one of the areas that probably vote the least for it, and even then it's at like 57%. So
Really?
I mean,
Oh, mate, that is awesome. I'm sorry, but that is a big round of applause.
I mean,
for-
that sounds like a made-up place for a start, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm glad about the outcome. But then the way that I see it, it's no big achievement. Like it should have been done bloody fucking.
what?
Yeah, but
What-
when you look at how indoctrinated religion is in Ireland, it is a massive achievement. I think.
What I
Well,
respect it for is
Come on,
it
Joe.
started off as just a small grassroots campaign, and then just sort of grew from there. Like,
oh,
it's just
so in a
sort of-
sense, I suppose the achievement is big. Then if
It's
it's
just sort of been happening over like the past
few
year or
years.
so, and it's just been growing and growing.
Oh, only a year or so.
Yeah, it just started off as like you've seen the occasional, repeal the eighth, repeal the eighth. It was sort of, people didn't really care about it, and then it started to pick up steam about last, I'd say, probably around Halloween, and then it's just sort of been building up since there.
Ah, so I suppose it is more of an achievement than I thought.
I
James,
just find it funny that it was a conservative party that launched this, but anyway.
Asim says, Angels, we don't need Brexit Island. Well, I disagree. I'd like to ship you all off to the bloody island, which you can just watch like royalist shit and like I don't know what else do you lot like? Weatherspoon, like you can have loads of Weatherspoons because you can take that creepy Irish bloke with you for a start. I don't want their sticky carpets or his big hair. Thanks.
Look, it won't be us who's going to this island. It'll be the centrists. It'll be sent to the gulag. What I like to call it is the House of Man. But that'd be the gulag.
No, Cameron, it would not be. It would be Brexit Island, and it would be like your heaven. We could have like loads of blue passports. We could have the creepy man from Wetherspoons. We can have Gove and Boris Farage. We can have like cheap pints, sticky carpets. Just take the whole fucking lot with you. Like the angry gammons, they can all go to. It will be wonderful for you, and then you can leave all the rest of us to live normally. Deal?
No, the centuries are going to the gulag now, man.
No, we're not.
You'll be indoctrinated. You'll be ready to call Marx. You'll be indoctrinated to the left.
Just no.
Yeah,
No.
We're gonna have the Communist Manifesto like on prescription, like it's gonna be delivered to your door. Like,
James brings up a really good point. Ireland know how to do referendums, unlike the UK.
Well, you also like to get a referendum that goes on your own way, but if it doesn't, you just you don't like it.
Well, I don't like. I'm not a fan of referendums anyway. Actually, regardless whether it's like Remain or Leave, I just think because obviously the UK is used to having like a representative sort of parliamentary setup. I just don't think it's particularly helpful to.
I'm looking through Twitter right now, and a lot of people are saying it's the Catholic Church's or the final death knell in the Catholic Church's grip on the island. In terms of whatever the control they had, because obviously they would be against it when they're being more religious. I'm trying to find like sort of updated numbers because that thing I posted in the group is from a couple of hours ago. But yeah, Ireland already have, in about the span of 3 years, they've had gay marriage and abortion, one after the other, and up here we're still stuck in the gay marriage bit.
You know what? I was just reading the side chat, and they go, yeah, those guys do have a massive point. His trial probably should be covered by the mainstream media outlets, but you do understand, right? That this is not few and far between, right? It's lots of things aren't actually talked about within lots of the mainstream media outlets. This is not like something that suddenly happened, but also the fact that you are talking about it means that you know about it. So where did you get your info from, or was it via Twitter or whatever? I mean, the whole point is that this goes deeper anyway, because a lot of people are going to alternative, basically, media outlets for their news now anyway. So I don't think it's. I mean, I agree with the principle that it's wrong, and certain topics shouldn't just be totally blanked, so that the public can't know about them. But at the same time,
doesn't Kevin Logan bring up? Have you seen his videos on the whole, free speech march where Tommy Robinson was speaking and Zargan Picard was speaking and what's the face that was barred from the UK?
oh god, yeah, Lauren something.
Lauren Southern, Canadian journalist.
That's it. And she's speaking via Skype, and at the end of the day, if free speech wasn't valid within the UK, then that entire thing wouldn't have happened, surely, right? And this is Kevin Logan's point. There's like, you're speaking essentially in the centre of London, right next to the Houses of Parliament. I mean, how free do you want your speech to be? I mean, that's it. It's about as free as it comes. And yet they're sitting there saying that we're repressed. Yet every single one of them was a white. Yeah, fucking in with the Winfrey situation, you got people being deported just because of the color of the skin. It's
the Windrush thing, yeah.
Windrush, yeah. So Windrush, sorry. That's what I meant. And it's just like, hang on, get your focus. Which is more important? Your freedom to say fascist ideals, or the fact that people are being deported due to shitty legislation that May put through in 2012 and 2013. You know, you should be, if you're going to use your freedom of speech, you should be talking about that rather than, you know, the fact that you're somehow being repressed, which I can't understand. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, I see exactly what you're saying. Asim, fucking hell, he always gives me shit when it reads in the side chat. Well, first of all, why don't you join? But secondly, he says that we should have a referendum on whether we should nationalise centrism. Could you imagine if James Fielding and I were nationalised? I don't know. I don't know how we'd both feel about that.
The Department of Centrism was Vince Gill's the minister.
Oh my god!
God, it's what my nightmares are made up of.
Are you talking about like say
Blair in the House of Lords? You're joking.
Say we did have like a department for every single thing. So a department of alt-right, a department of like conservatives, a department of like Blairites, a department of sort of left-wing Labourites and like Corbynistas. Who would head up what? So, like, obviously, we've already talked about the Department of Centrism would be headed up by Vince Cable.
Does it have to be a politician? Because I'm struggling to think of the alt-right one.
No. It doesn't have to be a current serving MP.
Nigel Farage, mate. He's all right, isn't he?
Not really. I don't think he is.
Farage is like a Thatcher.
What's the DUP woman? She's quite all right, isn't she?
No.
Not new right. She's traditionally right though.
No, like an alt-right person would be someone like
an alt-right person is someone that sort of advocates for like an ethno-state and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
God, hardcore. Oh shit.
Nick Griffin, or Jeremy Francis from wasn't it Britain First?
Yeah, the Britain First guy. But
yeah, actually, I saw him before.
But really?
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins. Oh my god, who even is she? Like, can I just ask, what's the point in that woman? I don't even understand. Like, why is she even alive?
She's a hate monger. She's a hate monger.
But what I mean is, what's the point in her? She's irrelevant.
Okay. So, to stir up racial tensions in South Africa and get fucked on ketamine. There we go.
Sounds like a good Friday night.
Jesus.
Oh, by the way, there were actually photos of her being fucked on ketamine. By the way, do you want to see them? Like, honestly, go to Google Images and say Katie Hopkins on ketamine, right? And it's her collapsing outside of a thing.
No, I don't. I'd rather not. But the thing is, what I mean is, why is she even relevant? Like, because I don't even know what she does. Like, is she a journalist? What even is she?
Stir up hate.
No, but
she was on The Apprentice.
What? Then who gives a fuck about her? She's like a thing because she was on some shitty program that I never watched. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah. She's a reality show star, and then she got a column in the Mail, I think, and she also got
Jesus Christ.
She was also on LBC, but then LBC sacked her because they realised that she's far too right-wing and far too racist and far too hate preachery for them, so they sacked her. And the Daily Mail sacked her, but the Sun still publish her columns, though.
Having said that, being sacked by the Mail, I mean, I'd wear it with a badge of honour. But I mean, it's also like so. But basically, I was right from the beginning. She's a total and utter irrelevance, and there's no point in her, and there's no reason why people should even.
None of you are gonna believe me here.
Well, you could say the same thing about Tommy Robinson. I mean, he's essentially does.
I don't give a fuck about him either. But I'm just saying, like, all of these people are complete non-entities. What's the point in them?
Right, I've got a fun game. Right, without looking it up, can anybody guess her age?
Whose age?
Katie Hopkins.
52, 55, no, 59, no. 55, 56.
56, yeah, 56.
Oh shit! No, you can't. I said it first. You can't have.
All right, sorry, fine. I'll have 57.
43.
What? Shut up. No. Look, I like to
know.
shave. I like to shave years off my age, but that
I'm
bitch is
No,
not
I'm
40 odd.
serious.
She's not. No
No,
way.
no.
Fuck me. She's had a hard time, didn't she? Fucking hell.
13th of February 1975.
Oh, shut up.
Fuck
She's,
off.
yeah, she's lying. She's lying. She's at least 52. Like, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that one.
She's
She's
just lying.
definitely
She's
not
just lying
50.
about it. She's doing the classic
It's not her.
move of shaving a few years off. I mean, I've done it. Like, I'm 35 and I own it, but come on. Hashtag forever 29.
Oh, mate. Really? No.
It's not her that said it. It's a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, but Wikipedia is full of
God.
shit, though. I think we've already established that.
Under different bios, everything is said she's 43.
Well, then everything is lying because that bitch looks about at least a decade older.
Well, that goes to show you, don't do Catman, kids. Because
Having said that, when do you remember Gerard when who was it? Was it you or Ben? One of you went and looked up Theresa May, and we were all like, "Oh, she's like 70, 71, 72.
69 or something.
No, she was like 60 or 61 or something. We were like, "What?"
Right now, Corbyn's like 66, 67, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think he might even be older.
69 today, isn't it?
Oh, he's 69.
Today. Like literally.
It's Corbyn's birthday today, isn't it?
Yeah. It's Corbyn's birthday.
69 today.
Happy birthday to you.
Nothing wrong with
birthday to
69,
you.
innit?
You look like a socialist, and you smell like one too.
Oh, speaking of smelly, right? There was this guy that I walked past who was like, he actually did look a little bit like a Wilders thug. He in the street, like, you know, white. He was like, he had one of the really shitty cheap papers and stuff. A bit Gammon-esque, if you will, and which is quite rare here because it's obviously not as, like, you know, not as much of a thing. And he absolutely stank. You know when like someone's body odor is so bad that it honestly makes you like retch. It was that bad, and I was like,
was it so bad that when you walk close to it, it's like a force field, and you're just like, and you kind of bounce off it, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and it's really warm today, so obviously everybody as they get warm and like sweating, like it was awful. It was honestly like a force field. Like and this was as I was walking into Spa to like rinse the free Wi-Fi and harass you lot on bullet chat. But literally as I walked in, I got a whiff of it and was like almost threw up, and I'm not even joking. It was disgusting. And I'm like how long does someone have to not wash for to smell like that? I'm like thinking honestly, like his personal hygiene must have been zero, like for oh god.
I've actually done experiments in this, and it doesn't take that long.
Weeks, if not months. I mean, he's
no. It only takes a matter of hours, actually.
What? Well, maybe for you, love.
But yeah. Hey, it's red stink, you know.
James Fielding says, "Happy birthday, Jezza. Let's hope it's filled with nationalised trains and a Morning Star." Cameron was going on about the Morning Star. I was like, fuck off with that.
Well, when Corbyn was born, a new star was born in the sky in the morning.
Oh, come off it. That was like a really bad pun. Even for your standards, Cameron.
It is, yeah.
Made me laugh, though.
Nee, ik ben nog niet sitting like a brother.
Ik ben sitting like a proper lady.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Where is James? I thought James was going to join us anyway.
Like this.
Well, I think we're joining a bit.
Wat ben je doen dan?
Sitting like a proper lady.
Ja, daar ben ik wel. Ga maar, rot op. Yeah, I think he is going to join. Well, at least he said he was. Oh, sorry, I thought I muted myself then. Did you hear me speak really bad Dutch?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, what we're going to do is I'm going to show this article that Bovis showed me.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sorry, I just wanted to ask too. I'm quite intrigued as to how James Fielding can eat tea. I mean, like, what do you freeze it and like crunch
Depends
it?
what kind of tea you're talking.
Well, tea.
Like,
I
are
mean,
you
tea.
talking like tea as in the posh, do you want to go out for tea, or are you talking as in the drink?
Well, obviously, tea is just tea, right? Like, you.
People have different meanings of tea.
Do you want a coffee or a tea? Like, I mean,
Here's the argument I have: eating soup. You don't eat soup; you drink soup.
Right. Can you see it?
right. Let's see.
Yeah, but Rebel Media is a bit. It's a bit dodgy. Mate.
Yeah, I haven't been on the site actually before. I mean,
Yes.
it's just Hopkins rolled up here. Right. So we're a police state. Two team arrested including Tommy Robinson. All right. 4 months ago, a woman in the UK posted a confrontation with a man in the car park, which concluded with her telling the man she assaulted. She came assaulted her to have a gay day. Which this is a real thing.
I don't think this is like. Hold on. So recently, police showed up at her door insisting she allow them in, whilst refusing to tell her why they were there. What the? This doesn't. Are you sure this is? This doesn't look like a legit article to me. But okay. Incidentally, this is the same woman who was at the centre of a videotaped confrontation with the police over their refusal to enforce British parks regulations against Muslims praying in public, which can be seen. Obviously, there's like a link. The woman captured her interaction with the police in this chilling video. When they came to her apartment to arrest her for what she would find out later was her homophobic remark. Okay, so is this like, this seems like a fake article almost? She begins.
It's fake news.
Yeah.
News.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's true, but it's a bit dodgy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's really dodgy if it's true, but it just doesn't. It just smells a bit of like fake news.
Yeah, it is. It's a fake news site. Like.
Oh, is it?
documented.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, it's a tool of the alt-right, definitely. It's basically one step away from Breitbart. Like,
yeah. I haven't been in this site before actually.
Oh.
So I also think it's probably I don't know if it's true, but if it is, it is worrying actually.
Yeah, it is quite worrying. Bubba says that it's real and that he's actually seen the video himself. Yeah, okay. Well, I think it was linked, Bubblevis, in that article. I'm not sure, but I will try and look it up too. James, I've just seen your comment, just lurking whilst eating tea dinner. So he means dinner, like not the drink. So I was just being a dumbass. He says it's a northern thing, innit, love?
So this is, right. This is actually a thing.
Don't fucking try and make me out to be like from Essex. I was offended enough when someone thought that a couple of weeks back.
What? So Hopkins World is actually a thing here.
Is it?
Yeah.
read the retraction from the Daily. It's from the Mirror, I think.
So
the Mirror was forced to have a retraction because they actually went to court and they lost the case. But read what the Mirror said about Katie Hopkins and what happened in South Africa. That's really, mate, it's solid gold, mate.
Since the tea dinner thing is like a northern thing, I can forgive you because northern accents are so cute.
Right, a flight of South Africa's farmers, as captured in photos, is it the thing that apparently what that some white farmers been forced to leave South Africa for violence? Apparently, this is what I heard, but I haven't really looked into it.
Oh my God, there's actually a website called hopkinsworld.com.
Yeah, I'm on it.
I mean, I can't believe that there's even an appetite for that within the public domain. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
I don't know. Wait, seriously.
Hopkins World. No one gives a fuck about her in the first place. Why does she even have a dedicated website? Anyway, I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
The truth between Detroit's second housing crisis. Right. A Belgian mayor is suing me for exposing that she knew an ISIS terrorist was hiding in her city. Right? I gotta look at this one. All right, so Spursky, mayor said it was a job to do anything to do with ISIS. Right. I pause that. I mean, is this a fake news site?
What is this? Hopkins,
look at Kate.
Hopkins World.
Look at this title here. I don't think the mayor will know who's an ISIS or not in the city, but I don't know. Because the part of Kate's journalism here. Oh dear. Steve Hopkins.
Her arrest. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hopkins was arrested in South Africa, but it was for inciting hatred. That's why she was arrested, and also being fucked off her skull on ketamine.
Yeah. Well. Was she detained at the border? I think something like that.
He was.
Tried to leave. But apparently we could save Hopkins here. So please help. A Belgian mayor is suing me for exposing she knew ISIS terrorists were hiding in the city. I mean, where does money go? I mean, how's it helping her? I mean, who's giving that? Who's giving $2,500 to Hopkins? I mean, who's going to do that?
Who knows, mate? Who knows?
I mean, he's a concern about terrorist attacks here, but yeah, I don't know. I probably need to look into this a bit more. Help me pay my legal bills. I promise to keep fighting. I don't think many people are going to do that. I gotta stop screen sharing now.
She is stateside, and I love her in America. Well, she's I think she's pro-Trump, isn't she? So
yeah, she is.
You know, so let them do it. I'll tell you what, right? I take fucking Trump, mate. It cost me a job this week. Fuck's sake.
Alright, I'm back, but I just saw you say something about that she was going on about Molenbeek in Brussels.
Oh, what? Sorry.
When you were on the Hopkins website, I just saw that you had highlighted.
Yeah.
About Molenbeek in Brussels, yeah, which I know well. I just wanted to add something about it. It does,
what?
It does have a very high Muslim population, but more importantly, which is no big deal because there are plenty of places with high amounts of Muslims everywhere that don't have the same problems it has. For some reason there does appear to be a bit of a hotbed of like terrorism having been based out of there previously, but there's no evidence to actually suggest that it's carrying on now. And if you go to like through the actual district, which I have countless times, to actually imply that it's a no-go zone is total and utter bollocks. I've been to shops there, I've been to markets there. It's much like a lot of places in London that I go.
Well,
you know,
what I heard actually about terrorism in Belgium is that after Paris attacks, which one? Year or two ago, the terrorists went to Belgium to hide.
yeah.
Right on that one.
You are
I don't
right
think-
on that one.
yeah.
Well, that's what they said, but I didn't really sort of say it like see any other stuff to do with it.
As Belgium took a lot of people in the migrant crisis, because I'm not sure actually. I actually don't know much of what's going on there in Belgium, so I can't really comment. But I know there's been a lot of rumours about a lot of terrorism in particularly Brussels, but I don't know much about it, to be honest.
Yeah, like the whole thing is it's that you know how I don't really get this whole like no-go zone language. I feel like it's being really overplayed. I go to countless places in London, which is you know, the quote unquote no-go areas according to some people who never even set a foot in them, and then try and tell me that they're apparently no-go, and I'm like, oh, okay, so what? I'm just like, even though I'm spending time there myself, and it's where I'm essentially, or at least nearby where I'm based, like, I don't really see what they're trying to say.
Was it Chuck we're talking about?
Sorry, Cam.
Wasn't it Chuck that we're going about no-go areas in parts of London?
Yeah, I mean, it was like this sort of overused. Like, I won't lie, my boyfriend literally just reminded me actually about Brussels Midi when I was there, obviously stranded overnight when like I'd missed the last train, and it wasn't even like it was their fault, but we had to book me a hotel and stuff. That area next to Midi Station is a shithole. But it's got nothing to do with no-go areas because of his Islamic terror. It's literally just a bunch of like transients there who are basically hang around on street corners and are quite like menacing, and you know what I mean. It's like easy to get your bag nicked and that kind of thing. It's not like what they're trying to claim it is. And every time I go to a lot of those places in London, obviously regularly, right? This narrative that, you know, somehow you can't go places that have like, for example, a high Islamic population, or I don't know, like a multi-ethnic sort of thing. It's just total bollocks. Like, honestly, it's total and utter bollocks. I don't see it, and I spend almost all my time there. So can someone tell me like what, you know, where these are meant to be?
So we, my wife and I went all through Europe a couple of years ago. We went basically right through the spine of Central Europe, through Italy, Spain, and through London as well, right? And through reflection and talking about it, and you know, how did you feel, you know? And she says honestly that the only place that she felt unsafe, where she thought that, you know, oh, this is, you know, she actually felt scared, was actually in Venice. Which to me, you know, because I
quite
spent
surprising
time,
in some,
yeah. I spent all my time talking to her about that, you know, and especially with all the news articles, you know, how many stabbings there were, and I said to her, you know, London can get a bit messy sometimes, but don't worry, I'm there, you know, just stick with me. And she said London was fine. She actually, in fact, she says like one of her favorite cities out of everywhere that we went, apart from, you know, Zermatt and Interlaken, you know, with these gorgeous, absolutely beautiful fucking places that we went. She was like, London was one of my favorites, and I was absolutely dumbfounded. You know, the first time
Yeah.
she's ever gone to Europe, and
Yeah,
she's
but
like, I just
how are you
love
surprised?
London.
How are you surprised? It's the
I-
city.
I-
It's not.
I know, but it was just so nice for someone that's never been to Europe to just actually say it, you know, to compare it to, like I say, you know, Interlaken is one of the most beautiful kind of places you can go in Central Europe. You know, you've got the Alps there, and you know, and the air is so clean, and you know, it is beautiful there. You know, and the people are so friendly. It's fucking expensive, don't get me wrong, but you know, and we also went to Nice on the French Riviera, you know, where we, you know, spent a couple of days on the French Riviera, and that was beautiful. Not as expensive as Switzerland, granted, but you know, it's beautiful. And she's like, yeah, definitely, London was still one of my favorite places. I'm like,
Yeah, but it is, the thing is, like, well, we all like go on about, you know, stag off like the financial sector and blah blah blah. But if you remove all of that and you look at it as a city, right, at the architecture, at the cultural things there, at the galleries, at the, you know,
totally.
it's second to none. When I was
Oh, it's fucking so
right,
awesome.
when
What a
I was
wicked
younger, I
city.
think I took it for granted how wonderful it actually is.
Yeah, me too.
Because now I've like traveled around multiple cities, and not even in like a sort of just a cosmetic kind of way, because obviously I speak the languages of lots of cities that I go to, and so I almost immerse myself probably more than the average person because I can, right? And even then, whilst I adore other cities, I will not lie when I say London is definitely up there in my top 3. It is a wonderful city, and I don't think I'd swap it for the absolute earth. So just to let you guys know, if Asim's still in the side chat, by all means, build a wall around London. Just make sure I'm on the inside of it.
Right.
Can I get a passport to this city?
As long as it's not blue, yeah.
All right. Basically, I remember some things on the news a few years ago about these Nogarians. So I found an article about it from Daily Mail. So this is pay stuff for this. So I'm not sure I'm saying the truth into it. Probably over exaggerated fake news, but let's see. Let's see what you think of it. Right.
Oh God! After all that conversation, I really miss Europe. Oh my God.
God, I know.
Right. Right, can you see it? Right. As Islamic extremists declare Britain the first.
It's the Daily Fail.
I told you. Declare Britain's first Sharia law zone. The ruling social and moral implications. As a throng of Muslim families around him, Abu Izzadeen, as I say it, speaks in a quiet voice of his plans for the future of Britain. The tall, bearded 36-year-old who recently freed from
because
prison.
Obviously, a beard is relevant, you know.
Yeah, for serving a term of funding terrorism. Well, that's key, isn't it? It is telling in detail how now what's opposed Islam's strict Sharia law in this country. Oh, it's a picture of her. It's always dangerous, isn't it? But in the at the shopping mall in Waltham Forest, North London, Muslim passers-by listen intently. Some shout greetings from Arabic from across the street. Right, that's probably normal. Parents push towards their young sons, wearing caps at first at local mosque. There, get a good view of a man who's praying in view by many as a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's actually done this, he's going around and saying people can't drink alcohol. Or
Yeah. Have you seen the date of that article though?
Yeah, it's from 2010, of course. I didn't say it was a few years ago. I can remember it.
So
I remember reading about it.
Who is that freak? I don't think that I've I don't even know who he is. But my point being is that all of these are not what I recognise as the places in London that I go that supposedly or allegedly are like these horrendous places. It's just totally
But
ridiculous.
if it was true, then London wouldn't have elected a Muslim mayor, right?
What you mean that
Surely-
there'd be such an uprising that people would be like, "Oh my God, all Muslims are evil," and blah blah, and then like
Well,
never
No,
vote them into power.
well, if this was true, if this what the Daily Fail is actually advocating, then there is no way that they would that anybody would elect a Muslim mayor.
No, I agree. And then, but people's argument to this is, which is fucking laughable considering the percentage people there are, right? Oh, but there's like loads of Muslims in the UK and stuff, so it was all them that voted Sadiq Khan in. It's
Loads of
like,
Muslims.
are you
isn't it?
joking? If you look at the percentage Muslim population and where they actually really are concentrated, obviously there's going to be more in London because London, you know, is a much bigger melting pot of various religions and
But
nationalities.
isn't that
and
what
stuff.
makes London great? That's
Yeah,
what,
but even then, if you take the percentage of people voting, it
Yeah.
still wouldn't have got him into power. So what the fuck are these people
Yeah.
on? You know what I mean?
To-
Like,
To be
I
fair,
don't
the
know.
opposition was proper dodgy, mate. You know,
his campaign was horrendous. Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it says here, right, under his brutal set of rules, there will be a ban on alcohol, gambling, drugs, music, smoking, homosexuality, as well as men and women.
Look, you nearly made
Isn't
my
that-
drink come out my nose then, man. Cameron, like, honestly, easy type. Give me some warning next time.
This is like this. I mean, right, correct me if I'm wrong, right? If Bibblevis is still here, and he's in the side chat, loads of like the idiots who like, you know, they're a massive minority actually, but lots of the like morons who sort of are like pro Geert Wilders are like, oh my God, we're going to be taken over by Muslims and stuff, and it's like, what? The only thing that I see when I go out, even in the centre of Amsterdam, and around here, around Arnhem, Nijmegen, like all of the places close to here, Utrecht, I don't see any of that. Sure, I see people who are potentially Middle Eastern or I don't know, from all backgrounds. Actually, I see
Well-
tons of Brits too and Americans, and I don't really see what this fucking obsession is with. Oh my God, we're gonna be taken over. Like, I think it's just paranoia. Like people just going fucking mental.
Well, on these two issues here, homosexuality and men and women mixed in public, there is quite a lot of Muslims who believe that, but I think it's a minority actually. But
I think it's a minority. Yeah, I think so as well.
yeah, if you go to a mosque, the men and women are actually separate, and they go in separate entrances and things like that, and they're very segregated in many societies.
Yeah.
And Muslim schools are
I see what you mean. You mean so they're
largely
not?
segregated between men and women, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these things in Islamic doctrine, in the Quran, but it's I think some of these things are a minority view.
But yeah. I mean, you're talking about fundamentalists.
Yeah.
I mean, you get fundamentalists on both sides of the spectrum. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about,
But the vast majority of people aren't. Like the vast majority of people are moderate. So what the fuck is people's problem?
Exactly right, Angels. I mean, we don't see a lot of Christian fundamentalism here in I say here.
Well, it's
mainland
largely
UK.
yeah.
Mate, I'm talking about there really in mainland UK. But if you look at the vote that's just happened recently in Ireland, I mean that has its roots in Christian fundamentalism or Catholicism.
Yeah,
Or even
Catholicism really. And I'm
Protestant.
Catholic, and even I'll admit that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there is still fundamentalism if you look for it. I mean, this is just it's just fucking
it's
asking for a fight. I mean, it's just stupid.
it's almost like a consideration of a problem, which is only like let's say minority. They might be more vocal, but it's a minority at least. But here it says that 25 areas around Britain we have large Muslim population, including Bradford. Now, have you heard the name Badistan? That's a lot of people actually call it by nickname.
No.
It might be a local thing, but I'm not sure. But people usually call Bradford Badistan.
I mean, well, first of all, what's Bradford? It's outside the M25, so I'm not really familiar with
So
it.
you-
No,
so-
I'm joking.
so
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Automatically, you're like, I don't give a fuck. It's
Well,
outside
well,
the
for you.
M25. I don't give a fuck.
Well, for you, it'd be a bit of shit, wasn't it?
Well, potentially. I mean, I have no idea. However, I'm sorry, not sorry that I called it a Brexit shithole, and I'll be
Angels.
I'll be a little bit
What?
I'll be a little bit honest.
Right.
I don't really know much about it. So
As an example of its attack on British decadence, it was quick this week to post a picture of Amy Whitehouse's body being removed
what?
from a house by the police under a coldly worded caption saying "The tragic end of Western women."
What? What a fucking bullshit!
I mean, there is very same misogynists that say that in Islam it's very like that. Lots of extremists, but
But the reality
Anyway.
is totally fucking different. Like as far as what I
mean-
have experienced. I mean,
I mean or some Muslims cover the face. Well, Muslim females, it's called a burqa, and that's because they think that their face will basically seduce every man that looks at it.
really? Well, isn't that
There's
rather?
lots of weird things like that, but there is weird doctrine in Islam.
But what I'm saying is though, it is also somebody's right to choose what they wear, and if they want to wear like a hijab or a headscarf or whatever,
Oh,
then
of course.
it's up to them. Like,
Of course, yeah.
I
Let's give you an example.
when you look at the UKIP policy of banning the burqa, it fails to recognise that some women actually choose to wear.
decide
burqa,
to. I mean, you can't.
It's you can't legislate against this shit, man.
Yeah, like I mean,
You
I want to be able
really
to.
can't. You can't.
Exactly. I want to be able to like go out wearing a Lord Buckethead outfit if I want to. Like technically, it should be my. You know what I mean? It should be my choice. I mean,
Look,
Yeah, exactly right.
what I
If I
did.
wanted to, I should wear a beanbag to work, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would like to wear a beanbag to work. And every time I sit down on a beanbag. That'll be
So
just
this quote is actually the reality of it. So, right, amount of our son and daughter who are being affected by non-Islamic culture is shocking. The Muslim youth today see no problem having boyfriends or girlfriends before marriage and walking to college together. Well, isn't that disguised almost every Muslim in this country? That's sentence. Well, I don't know. Oh, is everyone gone?
No, I'm still here. We're still here. I'm listening.
Right.
No, I'm here.
We're
I'm
listening.
really
We're
bad.
listening to you,
background. I
Cameron.
didn't
That's-
want to like pollute your ears.
We're listening. That's
Yeah.
Silence is the sound of listening.
There's now. What was a dominant Christian nation now is overwhelmed by rising Muslim population. 5% of the
Sorry,
population, right?
was that a question? Or,
So-
sorry, was
No, I'm just looking at this list. So it actually proves that case wrong here, where it says not 5% of the population. Up here it says what was predominantly Christian country is now being overwhelmed by a rising Muslim population. But it proves it wrong here by saying 5% of the population.
Yeah, like
I mean, it's a badly wrote article.
it's like well, that like they said, it's 7 and a bit % of the population in Holland, right? Are Muslims, which I don't understand how that's a Muslim takeover. Like it's just not. I mean, like anybody, any idiot can look at that stat and go, well, that's not a Muslim takeover. Like, what's the point in these people that just come out and go, oh my god, like blah, 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 blah. It's just total fucking fear mongering and complete and utter crap.
And it fails to take into understanding the secular Muslims as well. And there's a lot. I would say there's more secular Muslims than there are, fundamentalists.
Well, you could look at Majid Nawaz on LBC or Sadiq Khan for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Right, he's actually like you might sag him off being a Blairite or whatever, but I've actually met him twice now, right? And he is extremely level-headed. He's very pro equality when it comes to women and stuff. He's really tolerant of all faiths within London because he recognises it's like a massive melting pot, and he always is very respectful of, for example, religious holidays or whatever, and people, and actually other people's politics too. He'll like reach out to people beyond the Labour spectrum and stuff. So it's just like he's a perfect example of somebody who, you know, to turn around and say that all Muslims, like if you're faced with somebody like Sadiq Khan, for example, are like fundamentalist nutcases, is fucking ridiculous because there are about as many, like that's basically like saying all Catholics hold ties with the IRA.
Or they're all kiddie fiddlers or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Or all priests are like, all Catholic priests are like paedophiles.
My only problem with Sadiq Khan, right, is that he does lack a bit of charisma. He's a bit boring. Right?
He's good. He's good. He's very able. When you meet him, he's
but if you look at his CV, for instance, oh my god, like human rights lawyer, he was like where he came from, where he actually fought for, and where he's become mayor of London. Fuck me, mate. God, I've got so much respect for that guy.
What was it? I think it was a council estate in Streatham or something.
Yeah,
like Tooting or
dad
something.
was a bus driver, you know, and he grew up and he became a human rights lawyer. So before he became
Anything
mayor
else,
of London,
yeah.
Oh God, and for oh God, who was his opposition?
Jack Goldsmith.
Oh mate, and what a dick he was, right? And he's dog whistle racist politics that he fucking brought up.
That was actually his campaign, and I'm pretty sure someone else was in charge of it because my dad knows or has met him a couple of times recently, actually, very recently. Because within the constituency of Richmond Park, which is where he's clinging on by 40 votes, he had to do, there was some property thing and they needed to get the MP involved. So my dad's gone to meetings and met Zach Goldsmith a couple of times recently, and he said, no, he's actually a very pleasant man. Of course, with a major party for a mayoral campaign, they'll have people in charge of it. And what they thought was, it was almost, what made me laugh about the whole thing is divide and rule works in the smaller, shittier Brexit shitholes of the UK, like when you're talking about shires and like people basically that live in the middle of nowhere and don't have a clue actually what's going on. But in enormous melting pots like London, which are much more open, much more internationalist, etc., divide and rule only makes them hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happened was it royally backfired. So whoever was running his campaign was the best gift that Sadiq Khan could have had.
Can you remember his mandate? Like, do you know what the result was? Can someone pull that out? Like, Cam, do you know what?
Yeah. So Muslim. So I've got Ian Chris in the background.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's actually me eating a bit of a like a salad roll.
Sorry. Yeah, it does sound like someone's eating Chris.
I mean, yeah. So sorry. What did you say?
Can you pull up what Sadiq Khan's mandate was?
I believe he won with the largest vote share, at least, or possibly even number in history for mayoral candidates. So he did really well.
Yeah, but if you remove the dog whistle racist politics from Zach Goldsmith, though, he's really slick, though, isn't he? Right? If you compare them like on an X Factor level, right? Zach Goldsmith. If you're looking at the X Factor level, then Zach should have won because Boris Johnson won before him, and he was the the bumbling kind of gentleman idiot that people like in London. You know, fuck's sake, man. Boris Johnson was re-elected, man. So he didn't just win one term; he won 2 terms as mayor of London.
Yeah. I was looking at the comments of that article now. It was going to be this, right? Only way to save our country from these madness is voting UKIP. BNP is a hope, but Nigel Farage saw other European shit rubbish out. The vote will be in your hands in the next general election. Now, what's the talk about? What's the big BNP up here? We're talking about UKIP. But this guy's from Kent, though, so you can take that how you want. But
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
Kent's
you keep actually kicked out a lot of people in the BNP. They actually kicked them out.
Kent is like a total fucking out of touch hellhole. So it's not surprising to me that he's from Kent.
It's Kent strikes me as the place where people go to die. You know, it's like my grandfather went to Herne Bay. To it's a retirement village which is in Kent. Herne Bay by the coast. It's quite pretty, quite picturesque, very slow, very.
Yeah, well, it
weary,
makes me want to die, and I'm not even there yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
No offense to anyone who comes from Kent.
No. My grandfather actually went there and he did die there. So
Oh my God! So maybe he's like part of a.
Like I said, it is. But doesn't matter how many anecdotes you've got, it doesn't make data really. But
Those bleed.
By Goldsmith, biological, whiter than whites. Brilliant. Dear.
Oh, actually, yeah. What I was going to say was, with the whole like Zach Goldsmith campaign and stuff, that to me was one of my proud moments. Because I saw how toxic the campaign was, how badly run it was, and divisive, and how it was like basically attacking very, very treasured parts of the London community. And I thought to myself then and there, and I'm not anti-Tory, as you know, like I'm technically a, well, quote unquote, a sort of floating vote, like a floating moderate voter. But I knew then and there that was just a horrendous campaign. And the way that it was run was so divisive and in a sense hate-filled that it didn't deserve to win. But I also knew it wouldn't win. I had faith in London, basically, and I knew that he would not win. At that moment, when they came out and said, "Oh, they've been sending letters to certain members of the Sikh community, for example, or whatever," and I thought, like this is just playing dirty tricks. But he's going to get nowhere because London prides itself almost on being a melting pot, which is again why you guys always say to me, "Oh, well, But that's normal. Like people that are brought up in and around London, that's normal to be that much of like a mix."
Of course, of course. I think when Zach Goldsmith crossed the line was to label Sadiq Khan as a Muslim extremist. I think that was really the trigger. And it's just like, what the fuck are you on about, mate? And this guy is from the higher echelons of education. So do you think this guy is educated far beyond his intelligence or what? I mean, who would run a fucking political campaign on that? Really? I mean, like, do you know anything about Sadiq Khan? He's a human rights lawyer, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. That's my point. So, like, almost everything about him flies in the face of what, like, the campaign was essentially based on, or whatever. Whether or not you like him, and people have gripes with him, and probably rightly so. It's not. I'm not saying he's perfect, but the way, like, I remember the mayoral campaigns, and I remember the positivity of his and the inclusivity of Sadiq Khan's campaign was key because for people to kind of suggest that, oh, he only got in because of the Muslim vote. Well, if you look at all of the Muslim vote combined, and that's if every single one of them voted and every single one of them voted for him, it still wouldn't be enough. So don't be so fucking stupid, firstly. Secondly, the way that he ran it, and as I said, it's more like the positive and inclusive nature of it totally and utterly outweighed in a community such as London, which is so mixed, the divide and rule thing, which failed catastrophically for Zach Goldsmith. And he had and he had the name recognition, he had the backing, he had the funding, and he
had the pedigree as well.
Yeah, all of this. But the thing is, I knew at that moment that he would fail. I was like, right, this is Sadiq Khan's on a plate.
We also
he was just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, we also said that Goldsmith failed, but how did that Boris Johnson? This is what I haven't looked into this. How Boris got elected, but how do you think he got elected to London?
Yeah, but his opposition was Red Ken, and
I
think Ken was a bit red. He was a bit, and he's a bit red and he's a bit wet. Let's face it. I mean, Red Ken's a bit wet.
Yeah, but yes, he is. But he was also a much more like if we're talking about effectiveness, because mayoral candidates are different. So mayoral candidates are different. You can't look at them in terms of party at all. Like Caroline Pidgeon, I think, was the Lib Dem candidate. She would have been bloody good too. But I knew she would have had no hope. So I was quite happy with Sadiq Khan over Zach Goldsmith. But it's not to do with party when it comes to mayoralship. It's to do with obviously, what they're going to do best for this city and how effective they're actually going to be. It's much like.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. I was saying it's much like my argument in local politics, for example. It's much better to elect, like a local independent that, providing they're like a good one, because they're going to do what's right for that area. So mayoral sort of stuff is similar in that sense. But Boris Johnson, you asked how would they elect Boris? He was, by all accounts, relatively useless as a mayor, but he is right. He's viewed as like a bit of a maverick, a bit of a character. So it's like he kind of goes against the grain of like the average conservative. Like London is very anti-Tory, but
so go on, Cameron.
I want to share this because apparently Eddie Hazard, right, according to Wikipedia, has expressed interest to become mayor of London.
Could you imagine him in his pink beret as mayor of London?
We had Boris Johnson as mayor of London, like I said, for 8 years. So
and now we're blessed with him as our foreign secretary. Would you believe?
I didn't know this as well. You know about Sol Campbell, don't you?
Yes, England, he's running as MP. Yeah.
So I was finding out.
Who the fuck is that?
I didn't know.
Ex-England footballer.
What? I mean.
So apparently it's a Tory, and he wants to run for mayor. So would it be interesting if Sadiq Khan doesn't run, right? Eddie Dodd versus Sol Campbell. I mean, what election would that be?
Well, first of all, an election with two clowns for a start. But I do think that Eddie Izzard would win just because of his comedy factor.
Well, sorry. Hang on. This is something I need to get through my straight head, right? Sol Campbell, right, being ex-England, was it defender he used to play? I think.
Yeah.
Now
Chelsea
he's run. He played for Arsenal, I think, maybe. Sol Campbell. Yeah. But it's irrelevant what team he played for. Right, you say
it's all irrelevant
Tory.
Anyway, to be honest, when you're talking about football.
You say, sorry, it's Tory. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Look, yeah.
Tory.
Hang
on. Again. Let me break this down. This is a footballer. I
who's largely wealthy.
Race into it. I don't mean to bring race into it, but he's black, right? and he's running for Tories. Really?
Well,
Is there
there's
any
lots.
other black person in the Tory party?
There are
Yeah.
tons
I'm
of black
not being
people
funny,
in the
it's-
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Like
There's
who?
quite for example.
Yeah, there are tons of Kwasi Kwarteng. There's like who's that new-ish guy who seems to be like really popular? He's like, what's his name? He's quite a young, like a junior minister, and he's been on Day Project. Oh God, I can't remember his name. But yeah, no. There's quite a lot of black people in the Tory party. Daniel. Oh God, it's gonna really bug me now. I'm gonna have to look it up.
I know. I know. Now thinking about it, I realise. Yes, I'm wrong. Apparently, the Tory party is not as white and
Old.
and what? It's not as gammon as I thought. I'm sorry.
Look, but they also have quite a lot of women as well, obviously, and like minority ethnic women too, such as the woman herself. What's her name? Fucking
Theresa
horrendous.
May.
Priti
Anna
Patel.
Soon
Priti Patel. No.
Oh, Priti Patel. Oh God, she's a
Awful. Yeah, she is awful. There are a few others too. We've got like that awful one that shouts. Like she can't talk normally, she just shouts. What's her fucking name? She's Zuela Fernandez or something. Zuela Fernandez, I think her name is. And all she does is uselessly shout, and she never says anything worthwhile. She's just awful, and she desperately tries to get like audiences on side on Question Time and stuff, but with very little substance. She's just horrendous. She's one of them too. I mean, to be fair, I think that nowadays, if we talk about sort of like a mix of race and mix of nationality, you know, and stuff, I think that the political parties, none of them are doing bad.
What the fuck, man? Look at this, right? If you don't register to vote, you're taking the colour out of Britain. So Campbell, Operation Black Vote. For the Tories.
What the hell?
I mean, it's not meant to Windrush here, but and all that controversy with that.
I mean, that's bizarre that as a black man he would actually do that. Do you not think?
Yeah. I don't know. Apparently, most footballers are Tories, which I'm not sure about that.
But don't they earn like 100,000 a week or something stupid?
Well,
So,
yeah, they do.
so they probably want to like protect their taxes.
I suppose so, but I thought footballers are generally like more, say, progressive, aren't they? Generally.
I mean, if you think about it though, if they like, this sounds so rude, and I don't mean it to come out this way, right? But like, if they have to resort to like just, oh my God, I'm about to say this, but if they have to resort to physical stuff, right? And they have to kick a ball around the field, it generally means that they probably aren't working the muscle between their ears that hard. So, you know what I
say
mean?
that, but apparently Frank Lampard's got an IQ of like 170.
Yeah, but IQ means shit.
Fair enough.
I know.
Can't argue with that.
It honestly does. Like, it's not, because obviously intelligence works in different ways according to different.
Tell that to Carol Vorderman.
I will. Me and Carol will have a full-on debate.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll. You should put it on Pornhub. Like, I'll tune into it. You and
Yeah,
Carol
why
Vorderman
not?
have
I
a
mean,
debate.
you know, I'm not fussy.
Right.
God, I'm shameless.
Right, comment. What was he interested in politics when he was younger? No, because it affected me. Spoken like a true Tory.
That's true.
Well, I didn't know it was a Tory, but interesting.
Like I find it sort of a bit like weird that Sol Campbell would even be like in, or at least want to stand as like a candidate. I just find the whole thing a bit odd.
Sports people running as candidates. Well, in America, obviously, you got actors. I mean,
No, I understand that, but I'm just
I-
like,
Not in England though, is it? It's a
No,
bit
not really.
weird
Yeah.
in
It's
England.
really odd, and
Well,
like it's
yeah.
not really their bag, is it? It's not like
Not too much. Ronald Reagan was an actor, wasn't he? Before.
Well,
Who?
yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, governor of
Yeah.
California.
Well, now Barack Obama is going to be an actor. He's going to appear in his own films he's making.
Oh yeah, he's got Netflix. Yeah, with the Obamas. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking terrible. Please,
And actually,
I don't.
Trump's actually an actor. He's been in a couple of TV programs and films.
Do you know what I will say though? Barack Obama, the only like politician, stroke president or whatever, who can actually pull off doing a mic drop and still look
Yeah.
okay doing it. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
tell you what. See, here's the thing. He does get my manhole going. He is very charismatic. I think he's more charismatic than your what's his face from Canada.
Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau. Yeah, there we go. I think I'd rather be stuck in bed with
Oh,
Obama
God.
than Justin Trudeau.
I'd rather be stuck in bed with both of them.
Angel sandwich.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. But no, but the thing is, Justin Trudeau actually does look a bit like a Disney prince. Do you know what I mean? He's got like the dark hair, like
Yeah,
really
he actually does. Was it from
Mm.
Aladdin or something?
yeah. He honestly actually looks like one of them too. I remember seeing like a photo,
Aladdin.
like,
Quick,
yeah.
Cam, pull up Aladdin. He does
Cameron.
look like.
He looks like one of the princes.
Alright. So what would you look at? Aladdin looking like?
Yeah, just
Aladdin. I-
Google like Justin Trudeau Disney lookalike, and it should bring up who I'm talking about.
Aladdin, basically.
I mean, it
Aladdin
doesn't
in a
because
cave.
doesn't Aladdin have like darker skin than Trudeau though? Because obviously Trudeau's white and Aladdin's black.
Well, he was. Aladdin traditionally was supposed to be Arabian, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he has like sort of slightly darker skin than Justin Trudeau, but his hair's quite similar and he's really good looking.
Yeah. Well, Aladdin apparently was very good looking as well. So
Well, I wouldn't say no, but
that's why you fell in love with the princess, wasn't it? So,
so there's like but what I'm saying is like I think Obama had the whole yeah, you're right, he was very charismatic and he had
charismatic. Yeah,
and my dad
his charisma. I think he's got more charisma than Justin Trudeau. Let me.
Yeah.
Right, can you see this?
all right, let's see.
No. Oh, okay. No, I can't see it. You can't see
He
it.
does as
You need
well.
to- There
Oh my
we go,
God, he
see?
actually Oh my God, he actually does. Oh my God, yes, he does.
It's in there.
What's that? Oh my god.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Oh my God, he's gorgeous, isn't he? Yeah, he's. I mean, there's no getting away from it. He's a beautiful man.
He's a bit wet though, isn't he? Like, whereas Barack Obama had some balls behind him, you know. It's just
I
like,
don't know. Justin Trudeau can be soaking, as far as I'm concerned. He's gorgeous.
do you ever watch? Oh god, what's that? Animated spy series? Oh shit! From Adult Swim. Anyway, I'll think about it in a second.
Have a think about it. But yeah, when we're talking about Obama, I remember my boy Vinny saying to me, "Oh, yeah, did you hear when Obama did like the mic drop or whatever?" And I think he might have linked me the video or something. And I saw Obama, like, and obviously when like a president's quite like he was still in a suit, it was quite a formal thing and stuff. And he's like, Obama out, and just like did the mic drop. And I'm like, who else could carry that off? You know, this is, like as
Could
a
you imagine
politician,
Theresa May doing that?
I would applaud her if she even had the balls, but that's the problem. Like she's just so weak, isn't she? And wet and awful. And I remember our equivalent, and actually I likened that video when I saw like Obama doing that to when Theresa and Philip May were on the One Show, wasn't it? And they did, and it was like the boys jobs and the girls jobs and all this. And oh, but he takes the bins out, and I was like, within about 2 minutes, right into that, or less, probably 30 seconds in, I was heavily face palming. I mean, like literally, it was painful.
It was everybody was slagging off Labour at the time for taking us back to the 1970s, but within one interview, they literally took us back to the 50s.
It was
just like
such a car crash. It was such a car crash, and
it was like feminism never even happened. Like,
well, I mean, it wasn't.
There were women's jobs and men's jobs. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Well, first of all, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, but it was more how socially awkward and horrendous the whole thing was. It was like both of them had never sort of spoken to anybody their entire life, and like had no idea to actually how to socialize, how to be, how to interact. It was just like it literally made me, I was like staring in horror at the TV like, this is painful. This is fucking painful. And yeah, it was just awful. That was actually almost, to me, as pivotal as the Nothing Has Changed. I was like, I think she's done. Like, I think this is like not viable.
Well, it's still government, and they're still negotiating our exit out of Europe. So.
People say like, if you want to get back into local politics, if you want to stand again in local politics and stuff, or if you wanted to then elevate into so and so. But, it might be really difficult. I mean, Theresa May has had to face all of this. And I'm like, well, you don't put your head in the lion's mouth if you don't want it to get bitten off. You know what I mean? Deal with it.
I'll tell you what, which is really interesting. Sorry, Gerard. It won't take me long. I'll just make this one point. So what was really interesting is when they were having the discussion about the Europeans within the UK and the expats within Europe, when they were having that discussion, right? They said, "Well, okay, well, let's guarantee the safety of Europeans within the country." Right? There was only one person that voted against that, and that was Theresa May. She thought that this could be a card that could be used against the EU, right? And that tells you exactly what you need to know about her. She is a horrid person.
I've taken a look at her voting record. It's mixed, but it's largely unfavourable. I'll give you that.
Yeah, she's a grotty person, absolutely grotty.
But you know what? I think that part of that, and I'm not in any way, by the way, sticking up for her here because I disagree with her and I think she's useless too. But what I think part of that might have been as well is that she knows that Brexit is, I think it's pretty clear now that Brexit's obviously a complete and utter disaster.
No.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is within the grounds, she's voting with other Tories, right? So it's behind closed doors, right?
Yeah.
This is it wasn't on the floor. This is behind closed doors,
But
when they were talking about the negotiation tactics.
Oh no, I know. But my point was not really that. It was that she obviously knew it would be an absolute disaster and wanted to use that as like a bargaining chip. Basically, that's my point. Now, some people might call. Well, of course, I disagree with it wholly. No, it and of course it is reprehensible in some ways. But what I'm saying is that is the reality of it, and that is probably the reasoning behind it. Because she, we can all be honest. We know that she doesn't want to leave the EU. She thinks it's a big cock up. But arguably, it is a big cock up. I mean, look at it so far. It's bloody ridiculous.
Of course, she's incompetent herself. Well, negotiating. We've done basically nothing so far. Very, very little. And
yeah, but that's the whole.
That's months before I actually do anything in terms of negotiating.
Yeah, and people like bang on about, oh my god, it's the most, it's the most important thing of our time and stuff. Well, okay. Well, clearly it's not, because nothing's being done about it, and what has been done is probably one of the biggest balls ups in history.
I'd say just because it's being fucked up does not
It's pointless,
diminish.
Gerard.
No. Just because it's being fucked up by the government doesn't mean it takes away from the importance of it.
No, I disagree. I think it's
Granted.
completely irrelevant. The vast majority of people in this country before that referendum was called well, first of all, probably couldn't even name an EU directive, let alone anything else. So,
Well, is that the point we should leave? We can't name anything from them. But
what I mean
if we
is,
can't name all the
can.
MAPs, why should we be part of it? We don't know anything. That's the point. No,
But-
you
but-
don't know who's representing you in the EU Parliament. So what's the point?
stop shouting,
can.
firstly. And secondly, MEPs are voted in, as you know, right?
Yeah.
But,
I can.
okay, well, you can, great, do.
Sorry.
But my whole point is that most people in everyday lives, when they go out their front door in the morning and they go to they don't even think about the European Union. And until this whole fucking pointless thing was actually called, nobody really gave a fuck. I'm not talking about anoraks like us, but I mean like, other people. Yeah. And so the whole thing has been a futile and pointless waste of time and money. And considering what looks to be likely, and I'm pretty sure all of you can agree, regardless how you voted, right? What looks to be the outcome, nobody wins. And this is what I've been saying all along. Face reality. Don't go, oh my God, we want a hard Brexit. It's never going to fucking happen. Never. So why don't we just shaft ourselves and have a worse deal? I mean, it's
shafted.
But it's fucking stupid. Like, how can people not see that? We're all meant to be adults here. So to me, it was more of a evaluation of like damage control. I was like a reluctant Remainer because I could see this exact fucking thing happening, and it is. So.
Well, yeah. Look, by the way, I wasn't actually shouting. I was right. It might sound snarky, but I wasn't that loud. But,
Love is
in terms of right, in terms of the EU, I'd rather be, let's say, outside of a political project than within. I mean, I know the Tories are. I know how it's going on. It's quite awful, and they.
No, so, I mean, it's a total fuck up. Yeah, it's a total fuck.
There's one thing that everyone can praise on is that without Brexit, it would have a hung parliament. Corbyn wasn't. No one would consider Corbyn someone who can become prime minister, as much we do now. Brexit, in a way, it's propelled Labour actually more than anything else.
Oh my God, you're driving me to drink. I'll be back in like 1 second.
Oh, excellent! I think that's a good sign. But at the end of the day, would there be a hung parliament? And when we talk about an election again, if it wasn't for Brexit.
Yeah. I think. I mean, like I can't really argue with Angel's analysis. I think she's exactly right. She said a reluctant Remainer, and obviously she knows the history of Greece and whatever. And I was a reluctant Remainer, but fuck's sake, man, the people have spoken. And I'm sorry to bring out this fucking trope, but the will of the people, and it should be followed through. And this is why I think there will be a general election by November. There will be a general election. Because we can't. There is no other way that they can settle this. Because I mean, May can't really lead the government through Brexit. Well, the Tories can't. They ain't got a fucking clue. I mean, let's face it. I mean, they're fucking clueless.
They don't plan. They're a bunch of buffoons who are arguing with each other. And basically, I think the Tory party has always been a very a divided figure in Europe.
Yeah.
We've got let's say people like Boris. Right, people like Margaret and people like Anna Sue have different ideas. They're both capitalists, but they have very different ideas how to do bad things.
Well, I mean,
very lots of fair and.
Well, the fact that Anna Sewsbury's actually, just pushed herself away from the
She's
Tory
Cameron's
party.
MP. Oh no,
Who
no,
Anna
sorry.
Sewsbury?
Really,
No,
Anna
no, no, she
Sewsbury?
isn't your MP. No, she isn't yours. I always get this muddled up with not James's. I always forget whose MP she is. She is one of our guys' MP.
Really, in the bullet chat, really?
Yeah.
She
Well,
was.
she's not going to.
like today. I only caught up with
Rockstow, she is.
BBC. I only caught up with BBC QT today, so and she was woeful.
Oh, of course she
Absolutely
isn't Cameron's,
woeful.
because Cameron's is Ed Miliband. But
Yeah.
I get fucking Philip Hammond. Count yourself lucky.
Yeah, I know. Salad fingers.
Salad fingers, stroke the Undertaker, whatever you prefer to refer to. What's yours?
Mine used to be Jerry Adams.
Oh, and now?
Just some other Sinn Féin MP.
Where's Michelle O'Neill MP for?
Not West Tyrone. No, she's not an MP.
Is she not?
She's an MLA. Yeah, West Tyrone. Yeah.
She's I don't mind her, weirdly.
She talks.
Mine's
It's a joke here that she talks so fast nobody can understand her. And she mumbles half of her words. It's the funniest thing to watch. Like, if you ever watch a speech, she always talks like this, and you can't really understand what she's saying.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Mine's Moon Jae-in. Pretty cool, but he's not very progressive. Like,
Who?
he's not into Moon Jae-in.
Yeah, right. The president and whatever of
Yeah, South Korea.
Yeah.
He's not very progressive though, to be honest.
Dear. Right. I'll see something that will scar you for life, probably.
ouch.
Right, and I'm gonna share it. Doesn't matter what. Right.
Oh my
So
god,
this,
I think
right. See it.
oh dear Lord.
The fuck is that?
It's meant to be some sort of app to try and choose him in.
Sorry, can you actually imagine being faced with that?
I thought that was Kay Hawkins.
I thought it was Hillary Clinton. Like,
You got the
fuck's
hair.
sake.
You got the hair on point.
I didn't want to think of it to be anyone. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you all? Like,
It does
I mean,
look like her.
There you go. Jeremy Corbyn there.
oh, Lord.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
It looks. It just. It looks like some weird
the
porn.
carrot thing again. Like let's just let it fester for a bit. You know,
It
let the
does.
carrot thing fester.
It does look like some weird porn parody.
Oh god, yeah. I actually thought it was, and also, I'm not even lying when I said it made me feel physically ill.
Well, there was one, wasn't there?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Also, which one of you bastards has given us a thumbs down? You better fix it now, or I'm gonna come after you, bitches.
But it was Bob Elvis due to my undemocratic voice earlier.
No, I don't think he would have done that. I'm pretty sure he would have.
Well, I bet in the Russian trolls that I had. Right?
Oh, we have to.
I actually had a legit Russian troll, right? You know what I stream, right? You got all the Spanish people coming in, Spanish and trolls, right? I streamed the game, right? I got a lot of Russians coming in.
Can I just ask, Bionic Bert, right? He's obviously like, I'm not as familiar with him as I am like some of the other guys because he's relatively new on all of our channels. But whereabouts are you from? Because by the name, I thought he might have been possibly from Holland or something. I don't even know why, but did kind of think that.
Angels, can I do an experiment with you? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm up for anything. Me.
Which is your strongest language between Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, French, Vietnamese, Thai, or Indonesian?
Well, considering I don't know any of them except for Spanish and French, I'll go with French.
French. Okay, cool. Would you like to give me a sentence?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's fair enough.
No. Yeah, I mean, like, what do you want? Like, what? Like anything?
Would not like to give you a sentence.
Well, I mean, I can do. I'm just saying, like,
No,
what
it's
are we
fine.
doing?
No, it's fine. Okay, cool. Right, now listen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, this will work.
Aucune décision n'a été prise. Aucune décision n'a été prise.
Can you hear that?
Please,
Yeah.
No,
Sounds
no.
like some-
Aucune décision n'a été prise.
Decision entreprise. I can't. It sounds too quiet for me, but
Aucune décision n'a été prise.
Doesn't it work? Oh, okay.
I can't hear it clearly enough to.
It sounds like, is this your notice, please? That's what it sounds like to me.
Non, c'est en français, mais
Aucune decision n'a été prise. Prise. I can't read French.
okay.
I
It
bet-
means no decision was taken. I think.
No, I would not like to give a sentence.
Yeah, like no decision was taken is the same thing.
Yeah, I'm better. Here's weird with this thing. I'm better at reading Korean than I am reading French. That's weird.
No, it means like no decision was taken. Like there wasn't like a.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, but it just came out really unclear.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Tell me something else.
Okay.
Okay, how about this? Okay, cool. I've got one.
What exactly are you testing me on?
I'm just testing an app, actually.
Right. Oh, so you want me to speak French into? Yeah. I can do that. Why didn't you just ask me?
That because then that would have spoiled the. Okay, what does this mean?
Pensez-vous que vous êtes assez?
It's really unclear. It's really quiet. So I can't.
Sorry.
Pensez-vous que vous êtes assez?
One more time.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, for fuck's sake. Go away.
Pensez-vous que vous êtes assez?
The testing? Did you say? Yeah. Do you think that you are being tested or are
No.
testing? I mean, I don't
No.
know because I can't hear it properly.
Are
Like
you
it's
using
not.
Fair enough.
Duolingo?
No. What?
Duolingo, the languages app. That's what it sounds like.
It's
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's Papa Go. Actually, it's a really good app. And you're a translator, right, Angel?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an English teacher.
Mm.
And this app is really good.
I mean, as a translator, I should probably download it. But the problem is that because it's secondhand through the mic.
Yeah. I know.
Difficult
it
to.
didn't kind of work. It was an experiment and it failed. So yeah, it's fine.
Well, no, not really, because the accent's good. Like the accent's perfect, but it just doesn't. It's not clear. Like I can't hear the end of words in the beginning of like the next. Okay.
Sure. It was like I said. It was an experiment that we tried and it
Right.
didn't work.
Give me one
So
then.
download the experiment. Download the app.
Oh well.
Papa Go, right? And it's an app based in Asia, and honestly, it's going to put us out of a job. It really is. Like, if you look at Moore's law, then yeah, it's going to put us out of a job. Yeah, I'm really scared of apps like this. Really scared, because one of the hardest things you can do is translate English. I mean, like English to European is quite easy because the grammar and the syntax is quite similar, right? Whereas if you try and translate English to say Chinese or Korean or something like that, because the syntax is completely all over the place and the grammar's all over the place, then it becomes weird. Whereas if you have an app that can translate complete sentences flawlessly, really, from English to Korean or from English to Chinese, then you're onto a winner. And this is a free app, you know. So then you're looking at Star Trek levels of kind of technology, you know, where you stick a universal translator into your ear and then everybody is all Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something like that. You know, it's really fucking mad. And like I say, our jobs, like I teach English, I teach language, and you translate for people, our days are numbered, mate. Our days are numbered. Do you think you'll be doing the same job for the next 10 years, for instance?
Are you talking to me? Sorry, I had to mute myself just for a second because my boyfriend was just leaving.
All right, okay. I was
sorry, are you
directly towards you? But...
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I just had to. Do I think it's going to be the same as it is now for the next year? No, I think it's going to be automated within about 20. The problem that we have now is that any linguist, or you could argue communications expert, right, knows that language is way more than just words. Like the stuff that us as human beings pick up when it comes to intonation, body language, all of that. Some, of course, yeah, some.
Of course, it's was it
80% of communication.
Yeah,
80%. Up to 80% is what they say. Yeah. So up to 80% of communication per se is in fact non-verbal. Yeah. So it comes down to intonation, to people's just the way they are, like body language and all of this. Now, I am inclined to actually agree with that, even as a linguist myself. Like at first I heard that and I was like, that's bollocks. But actually, the more that you think about it, if you say you see like a foreign film, right, that doesn't have subtitles, but you see like the conversations that say two people are having and the expressions they're pulling and that kind of thing, you can sort of catch, you know, most people can sort of catch the gist of it.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And you don't really know where that's from. You're like, oh my God, like how, you know, and the film Lost in Translation nails that, right? So
I actually watched that again recently with a very young Scarlett Johansson.
I know, and Bill Murray, yeah. God bless Bill
Definitely.
Murray. Also, well, I love Scarlett Johansson.
Well, no, yeah, of course, and I just love the scene with the shower where he's just like, it's because he's a really tall person, isn't he? I mean, he's
like apparently, I heard that, but I don't know.
Well, he is tall, and especially seeing the scenes in the elevator where his head just pokes out above. Like, I mean, there are traditional kind of Asian memes that the Japanese are supposed to be the shortest.
I mean, is that actually factually true though? Like I don't really know.
I don't know. Like, I only know this just from what I've noticed. You know, I've spent I've been here since 2010, so I can only explain. Obviously, I've travelled all around.
Like you're like how tall are you though compared to them? Like, are you like how tall are you compared to them? Do you go to?
Okay, so compared to Western, I'm average, so I'm 5'11", right?
Okay, that's still huge compared to me, but yeah, sure.
Yes, because you're short ass, mate.
No, I'm 5'3". I'm not. You know.
but compared to the East, yes, I'm tall. I mean, like I'm 5'11", which isn't tall by any stretch of the imagination. But
You know,
here they're like, "Wow, how tall are you?" I'm like, "I'm 183
oh my
centimeters." They're like,
God, I need to pay you a
"Wow,
visit.
my God, you're so tall."
I need to pay you a visit because I'd probably be tall there.
Probably would.
But the thing
I
is, right?
they'll probably be more fixated on your boobs because you probably actually have some.
I have, yeah, definitely some, yeah. But thing is, what I don't know whether it's my perception. It might not be true at all. But when I'm in Holland, I feel like everyone's massive, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
really
watched a
tall.
documentary once, and they actually said that the further you get to Eastern or Central Europe, taller people get. So people from like Czech Republic, for instance, are like some of the tallest people you have in the world, you know, and then they average over 6 foot, you know.
Yeah,
Men are fucking massive, you know. And if you think a landlocked country like Holland
yeah.
is, they are really quite tall. So
It's very well. I went to this was last year, right? Me and my boyfriend went to like a music festival here or whatever. It was like a live music thing. It wasn't like a festival because hell, am I going to mix with a riff-raff at festivals?
Oh, no.
Writhing around in dirt and their own sweat for 3 days.
oh, it was what was it from Peep Show, the Shit Munchers? Why am I queuing up like with the Shit Munchers when I should be on stage?
I mean, I actually went to Glastonbury and stayed at a 5-star hotel. Well, 4-star.
God, you did.
Yeah, and
You're
honestly,
awful, absolutely awful.
I know. And then the next night, I stayed in my auntie and uncle's house because they live like just on the outskirts. And then I like forced my uncle to drive me back to the festival because I wanted to feel clean.
I bet it was in a Mercedes or something like that, wasn't it?
No, it was honestly that bad. Like sometimes
Oh,
even I can laugh at myself for being like a middle class meme. But the thing is, yeah. So when we were at this live music thing, I was like, wait a second, something's not right here. And then I was like, oh, because the world is slightly scaled up. I'm like standing here and everybody is slightly larger than like I'm, normally used to. And I was like, Vinny, like everyone here's massive. And then he goes, oh yeah, but I'm not very tall. And he's 6'1", right? And he's like,
exactly right. Yeah.
and he's the shortest out of his friendship group. And he's 6'1". And I'm like, what? And because even a lot of the women are like, say, 5'6" or so 5, 5'6", 5'7". And so I feel particularly short here in flats. Like at least it encourages me to wear my 5 inches.
How tall are you?
5'3".
In centimeters, can you do it in centimeters?
162, I think.
162. See, you're taller than my wife. My wife's 155, right?
Yeah.
And she's considered tall as a female in Korea.
Oh, so I'd actually be tall there. I'm so coming to visit you.
She's almost freakishly tall at 155.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's always been stereotypes about East Asians being small. It's not just a stereotype; it's actually true. Is that suggested?
Well, no. If you actually look at the data, yeah, of course, it's completely true. I mean, lost in translation, like where he couldn't get the fucking shower head to go, so he's just wrestling with this fucking shower head throughout the entire movie. It's like,
that is actually a really good film.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I've seen it like 15 times.
I know.
I hadn't seen it after I came to Korea, so to watch it, and like I said, I only watched it again like a week ago, and the whole karaoke scene, I was just like, of course, because karaoke is a completely different concept to what we have in the West, and there are so many. Yeah, there are so many little things that I'm just like, yeah. And it's honestly, little
It's
kitschy
kind of
things.
true.
you
Like,
know?
yeah, I know, and I think it nails like a lot of those really well. Like, I've been in, well, situations like it, probably less than the average person. Like, I remember one of my best friends said to my parents once, can you imagine what it's like for Annabelle when she's in Western Europe? Because it's totally different to what we see. Because obviously she hears and understands all the languages, can like speak about it and stuff, and chat with them, which is true. Like, I mean, like what I see, like the I guess the insight that I have just by speaking languages is and this is why when people say, oh, you know, no one needs it's fine, everybody speaks English, blah blah blah, it's like, well, yes, that's true. Obviously, you know, if we're to face facts, English is the international
Universal
language.
language. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
universal language.
Yeah. You know, when it comes to business and stuff, but the richness that you gain from knowing the language of a certain country and therefore meeting people and mixing and stuff is honestly irreplaceable. Like, it is, I would not have had half of the brilliant experiences that I have had if it wasn't for the fact that I speak those. So I'm like, well,
I appreciate that, but I will say this as like I said, as someone that's lived in a foreign country for 8 years. I have tried. I have really tried. It's just my brain is just not geared towards language. Like, give me a logic puzzle, right, and I will sort it out, right. Give me a pool table, and I will put every ball in one sitting. Give me any logic puzzle you like, and I will fucking solve it. But I just can't work out how to speak Korean. You know, I have the basics down. Like, I can survive, right? I know how to order a beer. I know how to say thank you. I know how to say, you know, have a nice weekend. I know my survival language, but fuck's sake, I just can't do Korean.
yeah,
right?
but you see,
And yeah,
people, your
yeah,
wife is like very much a language person, is she?
Oh yeah, she's fluent and she's getting down to her standard of English is actually getting down to slang. I mean, on one of the first weekends that we were together, I was on my way back from snowboarding. She's like, "I'll pick up some shit roll on the way back." I was like, "Fucking hell, really?" And I was actually showing it to my mate. I was like, check out her English. She's like, pick up some shit roll. I was like, but and she's also fluent in Japanese. And I'm like, well, fuck me, you know, how does your brain fucking work that? But then she did a double major as well, so she's far.
So she's got the structural, yeah, you see, because if you properly study it, you get the structural bit. People say, well, you know, you basically have to spend time there in order to soak it up properly, which is true. But when you're also properly taught it, when you're properly taught like the structural sort of side, like the grammar and stuff, because weirdly, I have a brain that's obviously that soaks up languages, but I remember having the book. This was actually really funny, but like when I was applying to unis, right, I took 2 years out, so I was only applying to unis when I was like 20, right? And I remember going to so I had Cambridge, Warwick, Southampton, Royal Holloway, Surrey, and Bath, right? All really good unis and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember.
Top shelf, mate.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, I remember going to an interview at Cambridge. Only I can't believe I was as cocky as this. I wouldn't do it now. I basically sat there after having been accepted through the first round. So like with Cambridge, you have like rounds, so you have to do like proper sit down exams and stuff. Sorry, I just
Can
got.
I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Jules?
Yeah.
Were you subjected to languages at an early age? So I know, like, when I was, I know we grew up around the same area. So when I was going through middle school and Heathside, it was essentially French and German that
Mm.
we were taught, but it was on a modular level because I was never really any good at it. So it was on a modular level. So I never really, like, in Germany I can probably
Get
speak
by.
more Korean than I can get by, you know.
Mm.
But then when I go to Germany, and I've been to Germany, obviously, everybody speaks English anyway. But anyway, this is besides the point. My question is, were you exposed to a really deep level to languages, which helped you get a leg up to with your, because like you say, you're fluent in Dutch, French, Spanish, German, 5 languages, you say, right?
Mm.
Did
Well,
you-
French,
what-
French,
what-
Spanish, German, Dutch. I can speak like conversational Italian. Like I can get by, but it's not great, and I've never like properly learned it. But
What about Polish, Welsh, or
no, I
Czechoslovakian?
can't. And actually, the fact that I don't speak Welsh is kind of shameful, since my family are actually Welsh. But then they don't speak it either because they're all like cosmopolitan kind of Cardiff people.
One in 3 people speak Welsh. 1 in 3 Welsh people speak Welsh.
That's bizarre. I mean,
Well,
I don't. Carry
Yeah,
on.
I looked this up actually before. Apparently, most Welsh people learn it as a part of their identity, but don't use it.
Yeah.
But you'd have to go into North Wales, like Wrexham, somewhere like that.
But nobody wants to go to
Well,
places like that. I mean, come on.
Where the Trogs are. Yeah, no.
Well, places like Carnarvon, expect places like that, or look quite now, Anglesey. That's sort of places where you see a lot of Welsh speakers.
What the fuck is Anglesey?
It's like the island of like coast of Wales, like Large Island.
Oh God, that sounds like a Brexit shithole. Am I right? I'm actually.
I don't know.
So I mean, I lived in Wales for like 5 years, so I know a little bit of Welsh. I lived in Cardiff for 2 years. I lived in Swansea for 5 years. I did my degree in Swansea, which is in Welsh is Abertawe, innit? It's proper noodle farmers, innit? So yeah,
Okay.
Aber means by the, Tower means sea, so Abertawe means by the sea, which is Swansea.
Well, look at Swansea actually founded by the Vikings now. Found after a Viking king called Swin.
Oh my God, I'm right. Anglesey is an actual Brexit shithole. I told you.
It's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit. Wasn't that Pad Cumber marginal?
Is it? Let's see.
I
But
think it's-
only, which is quite shocking, it was very, very marginal, which is shocking.
Is it between Labour and the Welsh Nationalists? That's what I think. That's
Well,
what
no,
I saw.
I was talking about the referendum result. Like, I was just calling it like a Brexit shithole. I was right; it is a Brexit shithole. But I thought it might be a bit of a landslide, like at least 60-40. But turns out it's very, very slim. It's like 18-something thousand versus like 19,000.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Angels, is: did you know that you had a talent for languages, throughout your entire life?
Yeah, because you know what happened, right? And I've heard audio tapes, and how weird is this? Like nobody plays cassettes anymore, anyway.
Yeah.
But there's like a cassette which my dad has now put onto like digital, got it done onto the computer. And there's me talking totally fluently at the age of 1. Like not even 2. And okay, I've got like a baby voice and it's like a bit of a retard voice. But the fact is that I obviously picked up, my first language
was your thing.
super early. Yeah, like super early. Like mum even said by the age of like 2+ that she would have full on conversations basically with me when I was like in a pushchair and stuff. And I used to, and I was like so advanced for my age in English that she had to, and I also learned how to read by myself. And so, so it's like I'd associate written down words with actual words super early. And she had to almost, she said she had to stop me from doing that because she knew that I'd be bored at school. Like, as in, I wouldn't get the most out of it. But I already knew how to read, like, by the time I went to school. And then about 5 or 6, my parents used to go, because they didn't have a lot of money back then, actually, before my grandparents on my dad's side passed away. Then he got some sort of inheritance. It wasn't enormous, but it was like, you know, enough for them to get like a nice detached house and stuff. And so they obviously, you know, they didn't have super expensive holidays, but they used to take me to like around France, like camping. And my uncle and aunt and my 2 cousins used to like come and stuff. And my dad remembers me being like 5 or 6 and scratching my head and being a bit like, what language are these kids speaking? Because obviously I wasn't being taught French at the age of like 5. And but he remembers me figuring out by the end of like 1 week how to kind of communicate with them.
Yeah, you're like a sponge at that age, though.
Exactly.
It, you know?
And my whole point, right, is, and I've always been a massive advocate of, because here, for example, in Holland, they teach kids languages super early, or at least way earlier than us. Now, for that reason, they are masters in languages. I mean, my boyfriend, honestly, I'm not even shitting you, probably speaks better English than a lot of people, a lot of Brits we know, you know. And I mean, the Dutch level of English is insanely good.
Good, yeah, of course, because they learn English as a second language. You know?
Yeah, it's like
ESL. I mean, like this is
German,
field,
for example, and or French, or both.
Yeah, ESL or EFL or EGL, whatever, English as a foreign language, or you know, if you learn it as a foreign language, it becomes something you learn it by almost on by script, so how it's supposed to be. Whereas we as English speakers, I mean, we know how to communicate, right? But like our English is bullshit, right? Usually when we talk to each other, our English is absolutely bullshit, right? Like if I was to take a clip of the way we speak to each other, and I was to play it to like my kids, for example, it would be absolutely they would learn nothing. They'll be like, what the fuck is that? You know, because we got really, really bad habits. But what is really quite interesting, and I think is actually quite good, is the way they deal with education in Korea. Is that if you're looking at the really technical side, like the grammar and, you know, how the language actually works, they'll actually have a Korean teacher do that stuff. You know? But if you want conversational English, then they'll hire someone like me, right? And then I talk to people, and I say, okay, well, let's talk. Let's have a. Then you're looking at English as a second language, right? So ESL, right, which is what I teach, and which is why I charge a premium. So this is what I teach, and it's a method of communication, I suppose. You know.
And but do you not agree though that the reason why, like, it's not only because it's like just their second language here, because they do the same in like German and French and stuff, and they honestly are just outstandingly good. But I think a lot of it is that they start teaching it at the age of 6 or 7.
Well,
when
exactly.
They start school.
I mean, the age brackets I teach is 6 to 6. Well, 6 to anything, right? I try just not. I fucking hate teaching phonics. You know, I try because again, this is when I go back to, I think a Korean teacher could probably do it better. If you're going back to phonics, a, e, ba, c, k, if you're doing that kind of shit, yeah, fucking let a Korean teacher do it. And I almost I turn down jobs almost on a daily basis just not to do that.
No, I understand. What were you saying, Cam?
Well, we talk about this language, but it isn't an issue in this country that there's no incentive to learn language when English is basically the lingua franca of the world.
Yeah, but we're told that. But I'll be honest. I've been in international jobs and stuff where it's been not only like a bonus, but it's been literally necessary to speak other ones. So we're taught that English is the only language, but the fact is it isn't. Whilst it is obviously, there's no getting away from the fact that it is like the sort of international language of business and stuff, and largely people do speak it. There are times where you reach, like, especially if you're an international business person, right, where you will reach a sticky situation if you have no knowledge of other major Western European languages, So
I think Chinese is going to be the next one.
That's the one that I'm learning, right? So I have an app. I have an app on my phone for Chinese Mandarin, but I've also signed up for a course in for.
There are 250 different dialects in China.
I know. I signed up for a course actually. Funnily enough, at Strode's at my old sixth form college.
To read it, right?
Yeah.
To read Hanja, right? Which is it's actually a separate course that they teach here in Korea. And again, my wife's fucking awesome at this. Where they do the old Chinese calligraphy.
Oh yeah, and it looks
okay. So
too,
they're
what?
50,000 characters, right?
Bloody hell.
And yeah, I know, right? Imagine that keyboard. Fucking but simplified, right? To be qualified as a teacher, which a friend of mine was, you need to know 5,000 characters, right? So if you imagine, the English language has 26 characters. It's 26 compared to 50,000, and then 3,000 to actually be classed as a teacher of Hanja or this Chinese calligraphy or whatever it is. So taking that onwards, I mean, G's my wife. She's fucking awesome at it, and she does it, and she's absolutely brilliant. For instance, let me give you an example. She helped me design my my avatar. Those strokes that you see were her pen strokes.
Oh my god, they're gorgeous, beautiful looking too, aren't they?
Yeah, but this is Hangul, right, which is Korean, whereas Chinese is so much more intricate. It's yeah, it's crazy, and she does it. If you were to hold a brush, right, where would you hold it? Like at the top, the bottom, closer to the bristles, or top?
It would probably be better if I didn't hold it at all, judging by my answers.
Well, like if you hold a pencil, right, you generally hold it close to the tip, right?
I was going to make a really rude joke there, but okay.
Like if you grab a pen now, right, you generally hold it close to the tip. I mean, I'll grab a pencil.
Ish, yeah.
You hold it close to the tip, right? Imagine holding it literally on the end and using the brush strokes. So yeah, it's fucked up, and she knows 5,000 characters, Chinese characters. So angels, I could probably get you a Chinese interpretation of your name, or Cameron, you too.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
if you want it, then I can sort it out for you.
Oh, I'd love to.
I looked at her books. They're like a foot deep, just in calligraphy, just in Chinese calligraphy, in Chinese characters. It's
That
crazy.
just going back to the the fact of what you were saying, like when it comes to sort of language brains, quote unquote, like some people just are more languagey people and other people aren't. It's like it seems to be one of those things. And clearly I was from a very kind of
you're
early age,
obviously gifted. You're
like in that area. Like trust me, I'm a retard in various other ones. But my dad, the irony about this, right, is that my mum ended up being a physiotherapist in mental health, which has absolutely nothing to do with language whatsoever. Okay, but she actually used to get, weirdly, stuff like 98% and things, like insanely good grades on her Latin exams. And obviously Latin helps with like medical terms. So for her, she could obviously at least associate some of the Latin that she learned with various parts of the body and various
I heard that if you know Latin, then you can essentially, it's very easy to pick up, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian.
Yeah. So right. So this is exactly what I was going on to. So she then, I think, before she did her physio training, which was obviously different back then, it was a degree technically, but it was like not called that then. She said that just before she did her training, that when she did French A level, the fact that she had basically a knowledge of Latin massively helped her. And I will say that I have a very, very basic knowledge of Latin, but my Latin-based languages have helped each other. So like I did a 2-year GCSE course in 8 months, right? It was called a accelerated course or whatever, but because I already knew French and I clearly had a brain for it, I ended up doing no work and getting like an A star. So it was but entirely your point of that the Latin-based languages kind of helping each other was applicable to that. But what's weird is that okay, so I said obviously my mum's like good at Latin, but my dad is fucking like we're talking about language brains, right? My dad is fucking hopeless at them. He failed O level, obviously, like previous GCSE French 5 times, and he likes to call it 5 fois. And my uncle on my mum's side, like the oldest one that I'm really close to, he's had like 5 wives. He's awesome. He's a rock star, but he failed it fucking 7 times. So like where I've got this little muscle from, I don't actually know.
Let's say if someone wants to learn a language, what would it say? Because let's say if I want to learn Russian for a job, how would I go about it?
Why would you learn it for a joke though? Like,
I don't know. Well, this is an example. This is an example.
It's a great example though. Like me
learning it for a laugh.
Yeah, I mean, so I can get contact with my Russian overlords.
Oh, so you can like pretend to be a Russian bot.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least maybe he doesn't get chucked in the gulag.
No, fucking, he'll probably troll my channel and the like Russian sort of propaganda and like anti-centrist bollocks.
I literally had Russian trolls over there. Literally had loads of Russian people commenting in the side chat or streaming the game, right? I don't know what they're saying, but I actually had them.
I thought you had where was it the other day? We were
the Spanish ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Spanish ones. But what was that from?
I don't know.
Was that from that was from my no, it wasn't my channel. It was it your channel?
What, my channel?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Yeah, like either of your channels. when
What-
we were
what
all
were you
on,
talking
all of
about?
those Spanish bots started coming on, and I kept on
Oh
banning
no,
them.
it wasn't mine. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't my channel.
Oh, I think it was like New Lefts, and like
Oh,
a
Atten.
bunch. Yeah, and I think like a bunch of like random Spanish trolls kind of came on and were like, just talking total bollocks. And I told one to shut his whore mouth before I banned him. But that was fun. It can come in useful sometimes. My dad literally openly said to me, "You know what? Do you know what, kid?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "If you didn't look so much like me, I'd think you were the Milkmans with your grasp of languages." And I was like, wow, and Milkman's quite hot. I wouldn't really blame mum. Oh, Christ. I'm so sorry. You're right that language skill appears to be like a muscle, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? People either have it or they do not.
I suppose I was terrible at learning French and German at school.
Really? What, you didn't do well at them?
I don't know. I think I just had bad teachers, and
Yeah, and actually, people say, "Oh no, it's not about teaching," but that's bollocks because you know, I always bang on to you about how you should like start your history channel with like Ben or whatever. It's because my history teacher was at school was like one of the most boring people you can possibly imagine, and I feel like history is a really rich subject. Like it's sort of, especially as people get older and they do want to like read up more and stuff. And
But history is one of those subjects that does get more interesting the more you get older.
yeah, exactly. The more that you experience and stuff, yeah. Which is why, but also which is why when it is pivotal, like you know, when you're learning it like at school, a bad teacher for something like history is just awful. Like it's just really, really, really bad.
I had a really good teacher. I mean, like Teesside, right? So to be fair, it's one of those schools. It's obviously a proper comprehensive, but
I went
it's
to
one of those.
my entire life.
It's one of those schools where people send their kids that they don't want to send to private schools. I had this explanation, and I kind of applied it. It's because it's grant maintained. It's very, very high end. Look, it's in one of the richest estates in essentially the world.
Yeah.
Right next to St George's Hill, right next to well, it's in Weybridge. So, I went to this school, right, and so the teachers there were actually brilliant, but because of my domestic issues going on then, and we will talk about it, Angels, in private. I just didn't get on there, and I was, because I was such a I don't know, I just didn't fit in, right? I just couldn't get on with the teachers, but I now in hindsight, 2020 hindsight, I could see they were actually brilliant, and they tried to get us excited about the subjects, and I never thought I never thought I'd be a teacher now, but I am, and it's weird, kind of reflecting on that, So as a teacher, right, and as a student, what advice would you give me? Because I'm a teacher and you're a student. What would you say to me? If you take yourself back to your 15, 16-year-old self.
Shut up, old. Less of the old days.
No, if you took yourself back,
Okay, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I'm just kidding. Probably. Well, where I felt like
if you sorry, let me refine that because it was a bit fucking vague. So let me clarify that question. If you think about your best teachers when you're growing up, especially through secondary school, because I think 12 to 16 is probably my hardest age group that I actually teach, because half of them are too cool for school, you know, and the other half just can't be asked.
Yeah, because it's like adolescents, they're teenagers.
Exactly.
You know, they've got better places to be. We've all been there.
Yeah, of course. But
So teachers, particularly of that age group, in my view, should be quite sort of dynamic and very visual. So what I mean by that is like by having lots of interactive stuff. Or like I remember, for example, when I did I told you about when I did GCSE Spanish, and it was obviously a 2-year course, but I did it in like 8 months, right? One of my classes, and it ended up actually being one of my best grades, which was not, you know, conceivable to most people. But the fact is, she used to have very, what I'd call sort of tangible stuff. Like she used to bring in stuff that we could do or make or see. So there was a lot of visuals. There was then a lot of notes accompanying, you know, it on like whiteboards. But it was very interactive within the classroom too. But I remember one time we literally got to make like paella and got to make sangria, literally at the age of 15. And our parents had to like write like a okay slip for it. And I mean, I was well up for that because I was going to pubs from like 13. So I'm like, sangria in school? Yep. And yeah, I feel like that kind of makes things stick in people's heads because it's much more stimulating, basically. Like the brain remembers images and experiences more than it does sort of just bleated words. And the problem with my history teacher was that she was so boring and used to literally just bleat on from some textbook, and so you just switch off, you know. And I was like, and it wasn't like I wasn't interested in the history per se, it was just the style of teaching was so fucking boring, and like even history buffs would agree with me.
Yeah, there's a lot of boring history teachers. No, I had a lot. At school was really boring.
Yeah.
But I think it just hit me actually because it always called me hooligan.
So I've just sent you a video in the bullet chat of one of my classes.
Okay. I will go and go and watch it in just a second. Cameron, you're so cute, by the way, on your video with your little helmet on, like cycling and chatting.
Yeah.
You're so cute. Can't wait to get married.
Of course. I haven't done a video like that in a while, actually.
I mean, you need to share this video, actually. You really need to. It's... Oh, shit. I can't put it into the thing, can I? It's my kids singing "Hey Jude" by the Beatles.
Aww.
And they're absolutely lovely, mate. Honestly, I to be fair, I couldn't do my job in England. No fucking chance, mate. They've got so much respect. I mean, it's from the ground up, mate. But yeah, it's "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, and I put it in the bullet chat.
Right, I will watch it. Bionic, sorry, Abby, and then Bionic Bear has said in the side chat. So Abby says, if I could go to university now, that's the subject I would choose, referring to history. And Bionic Bert says, nobody gets to go to university unless they can carry the debt. Adult education went early on in the drive for austerity. It certainly de-incentivized people to actually go because of the physical cost. That's true. Obviously the debt that students are carrying out is totally and utterly unacceptable, and I've never been an apologist for it. And people say, well, oh, but you know, you don't want to vote for either of the main parties, so you know, you support the tuition fee rise. No, I don't. I never did. You know what I mean? I don't support that. I'm an issue by issue person.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
I mean, it's not left or right wing bullshit.
No,
it's literally issue by issue.
Yeah. And the thing is, what I will say, I don't think it's a defence, because I don't want to defend the Liberal Democrats on the fact that that was a major pledge which they failed on, because it is an absolute failure. And to give Daddy Vince his due, he's openly said it was an absolute failure and said sorry for it. So it's not weird. Which by the way,
like, he's in opposition, so he can say what the fuck he wants, though.
Oh yeah, and I'm not. But what I'm saying is, you would get that. You wouldn't get that from a lot of politicians.
Yeah, I hate to bring up the Labour Manifesto, but you know what it said? That education for all, from cradle to grave, will make all adult education free. Right, that was from the Labour Manifesto last year.
Yeah, it was actually right.
But you know, like here they get I can't remember what the exact setup is, but basically here a lot of stuff. And what I was reading, because I obviously read a lot of like social policy here and stuff compared to what we have in the UK and things, and what was in some of the manifestos or the policies, and what is viewed as, I think I've said this previously, like what is viewed as like mainstream, like pretty mainstream, just social democracy here, is somehow now in the UK viewed as a Marxist kind of communist crazy, and it's like, what?
You're radical. You're like, you know, this when you look at I mean I'm going online with JJ tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Hang on, Monday afternoon. Here's a plug.
Oh, I'm going on Tuesday.
Oh, wicked! Like, I'll definitely plug you. Anyway, so this is the thing, you know, is, you know, if you think that everybody's entitled to an education, everybody's entitled to, you know, healthcare, everybody's entitled to workers' rights, everybody's entitled to, you know, fucking 48-hour week, maternity leave, fucking also,
or paternity leave.
Yeah. Also, which is something from the EU as well. Then apparently you're some Marxist fucking like radical or something.
The thing is, we are talking about here. We are actually talking about the political pendulum. So, like I've said, what is regarded as like, let's take the VVD for example, which is
what's
the VVD, which is basically in Holland, it's essentially the Conservatives, right?
Right. Okay.
But they are not conservative because their center of gravity per se is so different that they're probably more like Vince Cable, you know. Like then they're just they don't really, aside from Geert Wilders, who's like a loon, they don't really have any right wing people.
If I was to paraphrase it, then like in Holland they're right wing, but if you were to put it within the
to us, to the structure of the UK, we view them as like centrist, possibly even like liberals, like they, you know.
Really?
Yeah. So is that of America? Not in that matter.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you think like, because it's very mainstream here, like it was the first country to legalize equal marriage, for example, but also obviously they've got legalized weed and protection for sex workers and various other like social, and they have regulated rents. They've got now their trains at this stage being run by wind energy. They're much more progressive when it comes to like recycling programs and stuff. Like you get money off your bill when you go to the supermarket if you take your plastic bottles back. They're just leagues ahead of us
Yeah,
when it comes to that sort of thing.
totally right.
And the thing is, all of that stuff here is regarded as like mainstream, right?
Marxist.
Yeah,
Marx,
but
yeah,
and then yeah, exactly. And then the moment I go back and I see some of that in the manifesto, which ironically is some of the stuff that we actually even used to have under Thatcher, right? And then again, like under Blair and stuff.
Mhm.
It's somehow now crazy left-wing communist, like what? This is like basic social democrat policy. Like it's not a big deal.
It's common sense politics.
Yeah, and
like,
you know,
let's get down to the brass tacks.
Yeah, let's also take it. Let's actually dissect it issue by issue. Does you know? Does this make sense? Does that make sense? Yes. Like if you turn around and you ask, like, you know,
and if you look at UK politics and you look at the manifesto of the Green Party in 2010, for instance, it is basically a reflection of just what you just said, you know.
Yeah,
and
like
I'm sure that it was taken from Europe at the time.
Oh yeah,
but the Green Party in 2010 were saying exactly the same things that you were, you know. And this is why I voted Green in 2010, by the way. But yeah, I mean,
what did I vote? I think 2010. I think I reluctantly voted Labour.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Because
I hear that thing in my vote. Really?
I reluctantly voted Labour. I wasn't actually anti-Cameron, but I felt like he was a bit of a trickery artist. I felt like he was trying to sell himself as
Brown. Right, but to be fair, like the state of the Labour Party in 2010, they deserved to lose.
Oh, I thought Miliband. Oh no, that was 20. Oh, sorry. So 2010.
Clegmania in 2010.
Oh, 2010. I voted Lib Dem. Yeah.
Of course you did, because it was Clegmania. Clegmania. Everybody. No, I voted Green, but I think everybody I knew voted Lib Dem.
Gosh, even I would attempt to. Give it tuition fees and some things like that. But I wasn't old enough to vote then.
But I love a bit.
It was like 14, 15, something like that. Then.
I've been the only time I remember only.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Sorry, Angels.
Carry on.
Cameron.
Yeah.
I failed to see you as a child. As far as I know, you were born as an adult.
Yeah, like he is a proper like little old man for his age, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Well, even then, I knew quite a lot about politics.
Joshi. Totally a Joshi. Sorry, Angels.
No, it's fine. I was going to say this is probably why when we get married, the 14-year age gap is not going to be a problem. Arguably, I'll be the fucking child in the relationship.
Love is in the air.
I love Cameron. Like we do have like a love-hate relationship. I love him. He hates me. That's the way it goes.
Perhaps,
you there was some proper full tongues in the body chat earlier.
Well, yeah, but actually, I don't even want to. I don't. Yeah, but I mean, like, I do have a bit of a acid tongue when it comes to certain things. Sometimes, actually, it's got me into trouble on numerous occasions.
Yeah,
so, I was about to add something about. Wait a sec. We were talking about. Oh. Clegg, yeah.
Common sense politics.
Yes. So.
Mania, 2010.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what I was like taking a drag of a cigarette. I know it's a bad habit. At least it's not a joint though, and I am in Holland, so.
Ooh, cigarette. I might have a cigarette. I haven't had a cigarette in at least.
Yeah, for some reason I'm actually quite enjoying it.
I might have to say this. I've never smoked a cigarette.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's have a smoke. Like, I haven't had a cigarette in hours. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the one thing about the whole, I think it was 2015 was like the pivotal election for me when it came to like, first of all, our systems failing because obviously the results did not reflect at all what the country voted for. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm done. I also didn't really like this whole kind of like, I felt like people were, even then, I think more so now, but I felt like people were being very, very tribal about stuff, which I
Wait,
also...
2010?
2020, 2015, you mean?
2015. Yeah.
2015. Okay. But
and-
no. I would
I think-
disagree with that because it was, David Miliband.
Ed
Yeah,
Miliband.
people. Sorry, yeah. David was his brother, right?
Yeah, the prince across the water.
Yeah. The thing is, I just don't think that the manifesto wasn't radical enough. It wasn't left wing enough. Whereas I'm sure people will say that they said it wasn't centrist. It wasn't Blairite enough. You know, there's a massive
but
argument.
my whole point is about the entire thing was that when I saw people like pinning their colours almost, I was like, I'm not really down with this. And I think it was, I had a chat with my dad after that election, and he actually voted Cameron, I think, in that election, but then he regretted it afterwards. Yeah. And he...
Basdog's lost my vote now.
You know what? In his defence, though, he is very issue by issue too, and he can see weaknesses. Like, he's not like now, for example, he is so anti this government. Like, he can't believe how bad they are, and he basically called them utterly unelectable, especially under her, and so. And he is right, and he kind of said, well, I don't trust Labour under Corbyn. He's like, I find him divisive and stuff, and he is right to a level, because remember, a lot of the so-called Blairites, or the other wing, if you will, of the Labour Party don't feel like they are included in the entire thing. So I feel like this goes back basically to my chat about someone like Clive Lewis. I'm not saying that he's like the saviour, but someone along those lines being able to unify the party a little bit better. But James also says often, right, that it's getting people like my dad on board, or people like that, which wins. And he's right. Like, to get that floating vote, right, to win those marginals, that's how they actually win. So
here's my question to you and Basdog. Maybe you can ask him. You say that Corbyn has baggage and he's a divisive character, right?
I don't. Sorry, I think that you misunderstood what I was saying. I don't think he has baggage per se, but I think that he is certainly a divisive character within the Labour Party.
So he's a divisive character within the Labour Party. Do you think that's because he's left wing, or because of the media portrayal of him being left wing? And these are two different subjects.
Okay.
Very different.
I don't think it's because he's left wing. My concerns are more to the fact that he is a divisive character, if that makes sense.
But but this is what I'm trying to nail down. I mean, he's a divisive character, but why?
Because A, he is not a good leader. He's not good at the dispatch box and stuff. And look, sorry. Okay, which shouldn't matter. I agree, right? But unfortunately, It does.
It does.
So therefore that's rule 1. Rule 2 is that if you had somebody who perhaps was perceived as more of a leader, or had more like charisma, quote unquote, because I know it's all bollocks and I know it's all like image shit, but I think that would help. I also think that there would be less infighting amongst the Labour Party if they had somebody who both the so-called Blairites and also the left could get behind. So
Okay. Let me
Sorry,
come back
Gerard.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gerard. I'm really sorry. It won't take long. Let me come back on that, on the fact, the Blairite thing, right? So let me take you back to 2015 with the Ed Miliband, and that essentially was a Blairite government, and it was a Blairite fucking shadow government as well, and they were supposed to be government in waiting, right? They lost, but they didn't just lose; they lost horribly, right? They lost more seats than they have done since 1983, right? So if you compare those results to the last general election, which was off the thumb, it was off the spur of the moment, yet we made so many gains, and more people voted for a socialist government than they did for a Miliband government, for instance, or a Blairite government, for instance. I think that shows you the change in people's ideals and what they actually look for in a government. They're looking for not just individualism; they're looking for people to care for one another, and it definitely does show the change. But yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. I have to be back in 2 seconds. The hubby has just come in.
Cameron, back me up here. You're the
Yeah.
man with the figures. Tell me I'm wrong,
All right.
please.
You're not wrong. No. Right. This is what else about this. About 2017 election, which is it's really odd election, right? Because you generally get public sector vote, you won majority. That's not how it is in this country. But 2015 was an odd one because the Tories all got 30%. That's because there's so many smaller parties, which was really extremely unusual. We haven't had that since the interwar years in the 1940s. But what was key is that there were the largest swing in the vote towards Labour in 1945. Labour got actually more votes than they did in 2001 and 2005, actually.
I got a bigger vote share than 87.
But they didn't win the key seats, of course.
The swing was massive.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the key KPI, I suppose, the actual swing, the swing in points was huge, absolutely huge. I mean, it was 60 points or something. If you look at from one side to the other, because it's 40%, and then the 20% that rolls over. It was massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah.
So sorry, and I was going to say that the voter turnout was really, really high as well.
Higher than usual, because if you look at elections since 1992, the turnout's been ridiculously low. I could actually say perfectly right the reason for it, because if you look at the turnout on that, it was 70%, which is rare in modern politics in this country. And that's the reason for that. So that could be another reason. But the key thing about a 2017 election that if you take it if you believe the polls anyway, how much Labour come behind? It was staggering and amazing.
For Corbyn,
I mean, the idea that Corbyn's not going to win the next election, or he can't win, it's out of the water. And I can't believe people are still saying this.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is,
it's literally ready on an electoral winning platform.
This was the idea. I mean, before he became leader, it's like he's unelectable. Oh, he's been elected, but he's still unelectable. He's unelectable. He's unelectable no matter what you say. He's unelectable. Oh, he's been elected again.
Yeah. Who was the first people? Who was the first people to say it? was the media.
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as he put his nomination for the leadership election, it was the media the first thing it said. It was like, oh, this person can't get elected. If he wins, he'll ruin the Labour Party. That's the first thing they said. Now, if you hear that, you must say, look, there's something to do with. You might think, there's something to do with this. There might be some truth in it. And this is where you get the Blurites using it as a tool. And then you get some unfortunate people actually believing it. But at the end of the day, if you don't mind the business moguls, vote Labour. That's another story on that one.
Mate,
that's always been the case in the Labour movement.
It's not X Factor, like he's not a leader. Well, I suppose he is by default, but he is more of a gatherer. He's not of people's ideas, and he just expresses those ideas.
He's not what you see as a traditional leader. He's something else, but it doesn't mean he's not capable within his country at all. No, if you say he's not made,
well, this is the fucking Thatcher hangover, I suppose I would call it. It is a Thatcher hangover. We're trying to get out of this fucking individualism, and it is individualism. Let's get out of individualism and get back into collectivism, and just realize that one person doesn't make a government. It takes a whole cabinet. It takes a whole country. Or the old Africanism is it takes a village to raise a child. It is. We're all about society. Whereas Thatcher said there is no such thing as society. Let's get back into societal values. Let's take care of our neighbours.
Of course. That's what we need to do. Not a form of individualism. We care about yourself. Exactly, dog eats dog. Forget everyone else. You need to take a more advanced approach. You're individual, but you're a part of society, and you should help people around you. We are born equal, and we add value because of our social constructs.
Well, you're exactly right. You're exactly right, and this is the problem. I think, it's switching those society. It's the oh god, what was the way? It's changing the way people think about society, I think, and that's going to take a change, And we thought it should have happened really in 2008, when essentially like the entire system that we built up over the last 50, 60 years essentially collapsed and put so many people into poverty. And if Maynard Keynes had seen this, he would have been like, okay, investment. But instead, it was austerity, And Keynes would have just gone, what the fuck are you doing? One of the greatest economists that's ever lived. Would have he was rolling in his grave, right? It's like you cannot have austerity in a time of slumps. It doesn't work. You cannot you cannot cut yourself to growth. It doesn't make any fucking sense, mate.
If you look what Keynes was about, when writing his economic theory and all that, during the Great Depression.
Exactly.
It's actually, was it the second Labour government? Was it? I think it's second Labour government. In the 1930s, they actually did a program of austerity. Believe it or not. There were a bunch that Labour before Attlee, but because they went to they were in the coalition with the Conservatives, right? That's why they are. And the person was in. Right. The person who was in government, right?
History student, right? You're a history student, right? As a teacher, I need to ask you a question right now.
Yeah.
Why aren't we not? Why aren't we taught this in school?
Because we have curriculum and the government basically chooses, I think. Well, we should be, because we actually don't know much about our actual history. You know? No one gets taught about Magna Carta.
No.
For example, what was it about says Mosley? Now, what? This is really odd, but Mosley was really Keynesian, and that caused him to resign from the government. And sort of went to Italy and learned about fascism. And so literally, austerity caused created the issue with the fascists.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
That,
Well, if you think
that's how ridiculous it was.
about Paine was essentially a Keynesian. You know, he was, you know, to go really far back, you know, to the 18th century. You know, Paine definitely was a Keynesian. Well, you could envelop the entire fucking umbrella and just say they're all fucking Marxist, which is what I like to do, and just say fuck it, it's all fucking Marxism, which doesn't help my my subscription levels, but hey, I'm sure there's more nuance than that, but
Yeah.
I don't care. It's all like Paine knew before Keynes, 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 Keynes. How do you pronounce his name?
Keynes. Yeah.
Keynes.
The thing is about Paine. Right. So basically, gave an ideological justification for the American Revolution. Then he went to France.
Yeah,
right? But when he came back to America after the French Revolution, to settle in America, he started talking about social equality. And I think that's what he's all on about. When he was basically ignored because the American Revolution wasn't about equality, it was about making money and profit.
Fuck's sake. I mean, even Nixon says we're all Keynesians now. Like this was America at the end of the 19th century.
But that's Nixon. He's I'm not sure about that one.
He's a dodgy. The quote's right, but he's a.
So one example, right? So when during his presidency, like Roe v. Wade, who basically legalized abortion, right? It was anti-abortion before it, but it became pro-abortion after, because it's soft public opinion. So another example is that with Vietnam, saw massive protests that said, "Oh, we're going to leave Vietnam now, Vietnamization." So Nixon, what he does is about power. It's not about what he believes in. It's about what will keep him in power. Why do I think Watergate happened?
But what I would like to talk about is Thomas Paine.
Yeah.
He was like 200 years before that, and you know, he wrote The Rights of Man. You know, and he also talked about austerity and the right times and the wrong times of how you shouldn't fuck over the working class because they will rebel, and he was right essentially. I mean, who was first, Thomas Paine or Marx?
Thomas Paine.
Yes, of course.
Well, Thomas Paine basically. Paine basically advocates for egalitarianism.
Yeah, of course.
In all forms, even economic forms. You can see this by reading the common sense. Talked about it in there.
Like I said, common sense politics, and this comes all the way from Thomas Paine's and the rights of man, or the rights. I suppose the rights of humans, the rights of people.
Guys, I've just I had to obviously go for a bit. The husband's back, but I also have to make a phone call to my family because my uncle's just arrived from New Zealand and Cardiff, 2 uncles. So I'm gonna like FaceTime them, but I can just stay muted and then rejoin. Okay.
Well, 25 minutes, and then you know, Liverpool kick off against Real Madrid in the cup final. So
Who gives a fuck? That's about as interesting as Katie Hopkins.
well, Sticer does, and I actually do like. 'Cause it's
Well,
quite
you know.
important to British football, but you know, let's talk more about Thomas Paine. I think Thomas Paine was an
Yeah.
awesome guy.
We do want 2005 to commence again.
Oh, for God's sake. Just fucking talk football. I'll be right back. Bye. Love you.
We were not talking about football. We're talking about Thomas Paine.
Yeah.
Like you've got in my eyes. I mean, there are certain figures, right, that are just godlike, right? So you've got Thomas Paine is one of them, obviously. Leon Trotsky is another one. I am a Trotskyite, even though I'm an evolutionary socialist rather than revolutionary socialist. Okay, but that's another story. I do like Shakespeare. Do like a bit of Shakespeare. I think he's a literary genius. Christopher Hitchens, again, literary genius. I also like there are some so Trotsky, and there was someone else that was part of the Russian Revolution. Who was the other person?
Lenin.
Sorry?
Lenin. I'm just trying to name.
Who was it?
Thinking about Lenin.
Oh, Lennon. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. But he's like, that's not his actual name. But yes, Lennon.
Yeah, that was
Leningrad. Yes, of course. Yeah. I, you know, one of my kind of bucket things is to go to Leningrad. I would love to go to Leningrad and see the statue of
it's
Vladimir
still
Lenin.
called that. Right.
Yeah, of course it is. Petrograd, isn't it?
No, because they changed their names after, didn't they? They changed Petrograd back to St. Petersburg and all that.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But I sorry, I just still see it as Leningrad. Maybe it's just the old school socialist in me. Rosa Luxemburg. I think
she was German, right? She basically she got killed by trying to. Right, it's very interesting. Post-war in Germany, because when the German Revolution, right? There were 2 revolutions, like in Russia.
Right.
There was
You're right.
let's call it the capitalists, right? Let's be it simple. Then there were the Socialist Republic proclaimed, and basically after the affair, well, the Socialist Republic actually failed because the reactionary royalist militia called the Freikorps basically crushed it. Went to Germany. There were like soldiers, right? Former soldiers. Because the German army was disbanded, and they're like a paramilitary group, a bit like the Ku Klux Klan were, things like that in America, and they fucking crushed it. Like, think of them as a private army, actually. That's what they were.
Yeah.
And then there was second attempt, and that's when they got killed a couple of weeks after. And then there were a couple of attempts as well, a revolution. They all got crushed, and a couple of attempts by the Nazis. But when the Nazis got into power, right, when they got to power was Hindenburg, right? Basically scared of the communists. Now, the communists got for the third highest vote. And places like actually in Berlin, they got the strongest vote. Literally, almost all of Berlin went communist. They were literally frightened of what would happen.
Jack James was saying Rosa Luxemburg, Marx, Engels. Yes, of course, but I was just getting there. I was just getting there, Jack James, mate. I was just getting there. Yes, of course. Rosa Luxemburg, Marx, Engels. I think Engels was more of a facilitator rather than a writer when it comes to Marx. So I still haven't read volume 2 and 3 of Capital, and I should. I've read a lot of extracts from volumes 2 and 3, but I've not actually read the entire volumes. But I would say Rosa Luxemburg would be the original feminist, and it's, for a woman to stand up and say that, all men and women are equal and we should fight together, for what actually turned out to be universal suffrage, I think is brilliant. And for her to be imprisoned and killed for it, she paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Well,
But,
if you look at the communist countries now, they did more for women's equality at the end of the regime. Look at the Soviet Union. Women were in terms of society. Where in, let's say, Western Europe, they weren't. In the Soviet Union.
If you look at Trotsky, I mean, he was in Mexico in the 1940s when he got a fucking ice pick in the back of his head. He was assassinated with an ice pick, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's weapon, isn't it? The evidence melts away. But,
so, get this, right? I've been watching a lot of Jordan Peterson tonight, right? And he apparently, according to him, he reckons the radical left, whatever the fuck that means, is responsible for more violence or more whatever shit or more restrictions on his freedoms, however he defines it, than the alt-right.
That's probably a lie to see how many people die due to neglection and capitalism.
I think it's a lie. It actually made me fucking sick listening to his fucking bullshit.
I mean, you look at them like Stan and Mao when they're a bit of lunatics. But look how many people die from neglect because of capitalism. It's a bit higher, a lot higher.
Well,
back in 2 minutes because I'm getting some.
Okay.
Whenever he says that, he probably means, like the numbers that were killed during the USSR and Mao's China and all their shit and Pol Pot and all that.
Okay. The Black Book of Communism.
Yeah, that's probably what he was on about, but.
But he's talking about neo-Marxism, obviously new Marxists, right? So new people to Marxism, and he's trying to say that it's infringing on his freedoms. What? I don't kind of, like platforming this in universities, deplatforming people for some reason. I don't know. Gerard.
Yeah.
If I was to put you on a political spectrum, where would you be? Left or right?
See, every other one I've done, I keep getting different results, but I usually end up somewhere like
North, south, east, or west?
I used to be very far southwest. I used to be like proper. I've sort of like went a bit further right, but not that much. So I'm probably like somewhere in the middle of,
What changed your opinion?
I don't know, whenever I was younger, I tended to be a lot more radical on just issues in general. Um, just sort of changed over time.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They say that when you're young, right? They say you're kind of a bit naive. Yeah, so you're left wing, right? When you're naive, you think everything's sweetness and light, and as you get older, you seem to grow more and more right wing, right? So you basically move further right the older that you get, right? And I understand that you're still quite young, so bear with me when I say this. Um, I
Right, I'm
was
back.
probably centrist when I was your age, and as I've got older, I've probably got more and more to the left.
Well, people say it's opposite, and not really.
Well, this is
people say,
exactly
people say it's right.
Cameron.
It could be a generation.
Cameron,
Yeah.
stop. And I'll tell you this, right? I was exactly just saying that to Gerard. It's exactly the opposite. I was essentially saying that exact thing, that people, as they get older, they go to the right. But yeah.
Could be, could be a generational thing. Because if you look at the baby boomers in that, was it 60s and 50s, 60s and 70s?
Yeah,
It's around that area.
50, 60, somewhere in there.
There was quite a bit of left wing movements for the youth then, particularly in America. Things like hippie movement and things like that, anti-war movements. Late 60s, early 70s. You can talk about Vietnam. I would say that they were not left wing, I went right wing. That there is.
I would say it more just depends on what's happening at the time or whether a generation will be more left or right wing.
You can say that because there was lots of economic failures in the 70s in this country, in America, where they had like high inflation, high unemployment. I think those and where the what's it in this country now? What did they have like a lot of inflation then? That's too, I think. But how went up, went down in value quite a bit. We had lots of problems with what was it like? Some sort of winter when bins got collected, something like that. I literally know a little about that pretty nice 70s actually. I'm not an expert at about history. But generally there were economic failures in the West, which basically helped trigger, let's say, what we see today is neoliberalism under Thatcher or Reagan.
Jack James has put up a few decent ideas. He says, I think that the thing about being naive when you're young is stupid. I mean, granted, I was very stupid when I was young. The older you get, the more you don't want to rock the boat and protect your build-up of wealth, like property. Jack, the older I've become, and I'm 38 years old, and I do try and hide it, but the more left wing I've become, and the richer I've become, and to be fair, I'm quite well off now. The more I want to share my wealth, and I'm actually trying to take measures that I can actually share it in economically and in ways that it's not going to be exploited. So I have to be very, very careful at where I spend my money. Does that make sense? So let me give you examples on that. Is that I'm a Patreon of Swiss, and JJ out. Let's talk. There's one more. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah. Kevin Logan is another one. So I fund political movements, I suppose, and it's I suppose it's something that I can, like I said, the older I've got, I seem to have gone more and more left, a bit like Tony Benn, really. I suppose he went further and further left the older he got, didn't he? So yeah. But Jack James, I those ideas were.
What I'm saying as well, another trend is some right-wing people are moving to the left. You'll see people like alt-right talk about nationalisation. I've been on stats like Gabba II, where any person could create alt-right to hang out. Support things like.
Well, this is okay. All right. No, dude, you want to get fucking angry, right? This really gets me fucking angry, right? You can see now how the NHS has been broken up, right?
Yeah.
You can see it's been cordoned off, and it's essentially right now it's primed for privatization, right? Now, what really fucking pisses me off is what gives the government, right, the right to sell it off, because it's not theirs, mate. It's not theirs. It's not theirs to sell off, right? They look at it like, they're just selling off, football stickers or something,
Yeah.
It's not theirs to sell off. Sorry, no, hang on, it's ours,
It is.
I still pay tax in the UK. No, I still have a fucking say, mate. I still have a vote, So look, no, it's not theirs at all. No,
well,
it's ours. It's the public. If you want to sell it off, then you should put it onto a fucking boat or something. You need to do something, but it's not yours to sell up. The fact they say, oh yeah, this is just something we're giving to you. No, fuck off. Everybody's been paying for it for the last 50, 60, 70 years. Wasn't it the 70th birthday of the NHS just recently?
Yeah, it was.
It's they're like, oh yes, it's your privilege. Well, no, fuck 'em, bollocks, mate.
See, the thing with the Tories, anything is a commodity, and that's their ideology. See anything is a commodity in the free market.
Of course.
That's how they see it. That's why you never trust them with it.
Again, bringing in Marx as well, and Thomas Paine as well, and this is where your ethics affect your ideology, and this is something that I'm really, really interested in, actually, how ethics affect ideology. And I'm going to bring this up on Monday with JJ, because I think it's going to be really fucking interesting. But yeah, I mean, I feel that it's unethical for anyone to get a profit or a dividend from someone being sick. Okay? If you get a profit, like it's like the fucking prison system in the US right now. You get judges that are on bonuses for putting kids in jail and shit like that, and you're just like, what the fuck? How the fuck is this?
Because it's right. The justice system is very privatized, especially in America. We've got a lot of private prisons there, and some of them actually do forced labor. Believe it or not. So it's in a way it's a business. So even is prison is a business. Putting people in prison and punishing them is not really. Look at the refund rate from prison. It's not. It's a fair system. You actually look at Norway. You treat prison as a rehabilitation. It's like some people say it's like a holiday camp, but So he rehabilitate people there, and even murderers, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
And
exactly
and the
right.
refriending
I
rate
mean,
is the lowest in the world in Norway. They literally have the best prison system in the world. I reckon people actually look it up. What does it actually do over there?
well, this is the thing, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, if you're a doctor, right, you have to take the Hippocratic Oath, which means you will never harm someone, and you should never be seen to be harmed, or you should never see someone to be harmed, right? But
Yeah.
if your practice is run on a profit basis, right, and you're not allowed to treat someone because they don't have the right insurance, surely that works against the Hippocratic Oath, right? Surely.
Yeah.
Am I just being stupid? Like Gerard.
It is against it.
Yeah, it would be.
I was going to share a link to a video which is on this. It's quite interesting. It's about a bit about religion, but it tells the point about healthcare. I'm gonna link it in a minute.
I did some research into it a while ago on why more like some people are born more conservative than others, and it's sort of I think scientists found whenever you're born that people who are more conservative tend to have bigger fear receptors in their head, so they're more afraid of change and keeping things the same.
All right. Okay.
So it's partly a biological thing as well.
Oh, well, no, I would disagree because you're a product of your surroundings. But guys, Cameron, thank you very much for giving me a platform. I'm gonna have to go because I have to watch football. I'm gonna have to.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. It's a Champions League final, and it is a British team. And Styles is gonna go mad if he wins. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Cameron, for giving me a platform. Thank you, Gerard, for listening. And I'll see you guys maybe for the Sunday stream, I suppose.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope.
Stan Swiss is doing it. What I've been told.
I hope so. Yeah. Definitely. But I'll see you then.
Let's see you.
But I'll definitely see you in the bullet chat anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I think I do this for 3 hours now, so I think I should end it now. But
yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, because Angel's probably. I don't know if Angel might come back for a while as well. So
yeah.
So I say thank you everyone for watching. I thank you to John as well for being here, and it's been great having you on. So bye.
Bye.